Oh my god, welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the stream. Yes. Best way to start it. Yes. Actually, today is me literally reacting to true crime, because I am injured. Yes. But, I'm basically just reacting and taking it easy, if that makes sense. There's a lot of harsh things in here, for the people who basically don't like stuff like that. I'm just reacting. Like a lot of talking in between and having my own inputs. Yeah. I'm hurt. Basically, I got injured. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As long as you love the topics I do. Um, I got injured and long story short, basically on the job, not so good things happened and basically I'm home and I've been hurting for like the past few days, so I'm trying to take it easy. I'm not really gonna do any much drawing because I can't even use my arms much, literally. But basically we're reacting to this. Warning, it's very bad. Dang, what happened? A lot of things happened. Hope you get better. Thank you, thank you. Let me let me let me shortly explain it. I hurt myself on job. Job said not good. You should not hurt yourself on job. And job was like, go home. Job said go home. I went home and yeah. Best way to put it. I still have to figure out my own situations for that out. So there will be like some days if it hurts really bad, I probably won't stream. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Pretty much, guys, yeah. So until then, we're reacting to a lot of things. There's gonna be days when it's gonna hurt really bad and I might not stream at all. But I do have a blur filter on right now just in case it's a little too graphic for you guys. Warning, very, very bad stuff, so yeah. Yeah. Of course, of course. Yeah. Sleepy time. More sleepy time. But here's the first thing we're gonna react to. I don't know. I have the link in the description. I literally searched up true crime, guys. I just searched up true crime and this was the first thing. Warning, very traumatic things. Please do not come at my throat. This person named EWU Crime Storytime. Subscribe to them. Look, I subscribe you. Notification bells all the way on. I love true crime. If this is not for you, please don't please don't watch this stream. But if it is for you and you love stuff like this, like me, and just like watching justice be prevailed, yeah, come watch it with me. But until then, we're reacting to EWU Crime Story. The title is "My Mom Realizes Her Son is a Massive Killer." Dang. YouTube, don't freaking come for my throat, please. But yeah, so we're reacting to. Yay! It helps me with at least getting some content, like all of that stuff. I used to be addicted to these stories. I am addicted to these stories. I played these games before. Yeah, I'm going to turn off that music. Let me. Unless I'll try to like make the music quieter if you guys don't mind. So then it's kind of like some of my content, but also some like so it's not quiet when I'm speaking. And also, yeah, a bad thing, a not so good thing, a not so YouTube appropriate thing, but YouTube allows certain people to say things like that. No slander at all. I really love this channel actually. They make amazing true crime things. So the link is in the description. Everything is in the description. For Twitch, everything is on YouTube. So I have a YouTube link to my YouTube channel, so you can have a link to the description on YouTube. So yeah. Everybody say hi to YouTube recordings and all that stuff. Because I'm probably gonna make a video out of it. Because my reaction is straight, I don't know, raw or whatever you want to call it. But that's pretty much it. Don't mind me yapping because I'm actually, yeah. Not gonna fall asleep. Real. No, it's like nighttime for me too. It's literally like almost 11 o'clock. I'm streaming. I don't know why. If I hurt really bad, I will be ending the stream. I'm putting my health first before anything else. I don't even know if I can go to my job. I don't even know what's gonna happen, honestly, but I have a sling. Let's put it like that. I am injured. For the people who want to skip to the video, I'll leave timestamps. I'm just yapping at the beginning. That's something, yeah, that's so fun. Yeah, pretty much, guys. We're gonna start in 3, 2. Let me know if you guys can't hear it or if it's too loud. Cause I wanna like make sure everything's okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm pressing. Oh my god, I can't see. It's blinding. Oh my god, it's so bright.
We need more people inside to help clear the rest of this building. We're finding more victims.
Is it working?
I don't want to be crass, but I know dead when I see dead.
Wait, what?
You never really had
Oh my
friends.
god, that's a real Wepione. Oh my lord. Please, I'm scared.
In 2016,
I'm not even there and I'm
terror
scared.
erupts at the
I don't even
Cascade
like it no
Mall in
more.
Burlington, Washington,
Oh my god.
as a gunman opens fire in a ruthless act of carnage.
Me personally,
Authorities
guys, this is
respond
my
in
opinion.
force,
This is what I would
but
do.
by the
Hold
time
on.
they arrive, he's already gone.
This is what I would
What
do.
follows is the relentless
Me personally, I'm throwing everything in the store. I'm throwing everything in the store towards the dude. I don't play no games. I'm throwing everything. Everything can be a weapon if you think about it. That mannequin. You see that mannequin in the corner? I'm using his arm. I'm chopping off his arm. And I'm gonna go all over it. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you want some? It's gonna be funny. But yeah. Ew.
pursuit of a killer hiding among an unsuspecting public.
This is what I would do.
Bone-chilling confession that exposes the cold, calculated mind behind an unspeakable massacre.
Scary.
The following is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before. Please note that while some of the following CCTV footage is intense, it does not show anyone being physically harmed or injured. In the early evening hours of September 23, 2016, the Cascade Mall is filled with its typical crowd of families, young children, and casual shoppers. What none of them realize is that a calculated predator walks among them, whose deadly intentions are about to turn
throw
their
him in the
quiet
Sharkies.
night out into a waking
The fish
nightmare.
full.
Just before 7
Like I
p.m.,
got a
the first
vacation trip for
911
you.
calls
Just throw him in there.
began flooding in.
Sketchy, I don't know what this emergency. There's a shooting in the mall.
In the mall?
What's going on?
Wait, what?
There's a shooting at the Macy's in the mall.
Wait. In the mall? Okay, I go to the mall. Wait, that's low-key scary. I go to the mall literally every day. I'm a shopaholic. I don't know. It's not really a good thing. I can't believe that happened in a mall. Like, the mall out of all places is like the scariest thing ever. Like, I never expect things like this to happen in a mall. What do you guys think? I don't know. I feel like I have like nightmares. Not like nightmares, but like, what is it called? Like, if things were to happen, like scenarios, if that makes sense. If things were to happen inside of a mall and I was there, I'd be freaking out. Like, bro, that's why I try to go home immediately. I grab my stuff. It's fun to walk around and all. But once it happens, like it's in a public space, like a mall or like a freaking, I don't know, a fast food place, or you know, where you like majority probably go on daily basis. It's like the freaking scariest thing ever. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? I could be wrong. But that's just my opinion. I feel like any freaking place. I don't know. Why can't they do this to like the trees in the woods or something? I don't know. Just let the trees have it. Like they'll attack you in your breathing most likely, but that's pretty much it. This is my opinion. Bro, this is 36 minutes long. It's pretty much an hour video. I feel bad. I feel like that's how I'd answer a phone call.
Do you see the person or a vehicle?
I saw him inside. There's people wounded on the floor.
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual, so you only pay.
Sorry, I got ad, guys,
The
ad.
response from local
It's
law
okay.
enforcement is both swift and overwhelming.
They gotta get their
with
money
more than
somehow.
200 officers from 27 agencies converging on the scene. Believing an armed suspect might still be
personally-
inside, officers in full gear move into the mall. Inside,
personally,
they're met with the
I'm throwing
tragic
every single man in
aftermath
here.
of
I
unspeakable
don't care.
violence.
If it looks like a human form, I'm moving it. The makeup section, oh yeah, I'm throwing all of the expensive makeup at him. I'm like, he got paid anyway.
Third victim.
He gets sneak a few in my pocket. give me all the
With the
eyeliner,
possibility
please.
of an active shooter still inside, paramedics are unable to safely enter the mall to reach the victims. Police continue to move through the building in teams, methodically clearing each area as they search for any sign
Teams of
the
two?
suspect.
Hold on, wait, hold on. I just saw, they said teams, right, guys? So, like, in teams, are they talking about in two? Because I just saw only 2 cops go inside of one. Me personally, I'm getting 5. I'm grabbing every single person of my freaking crew coming with me. That's just me personally. I don't know.
You have confirmation? Because we do not. Receive, we're working our search.
After multiple sweeps of the building, a horrifying reality sets in. The killer has escaped, leaving behind
What?
a Ruger 1022 rifle on the cosmetics
Bro,
counter.
you're telling me
Paramedics
he's
enter to
alive and
assess the
well?
victims, and one is taken to a local hospital. The rest are beyond saving.
Oh my.
Investigators turn to mall surveillance footage, hoping to identify the suspect and trace his
Oh
movements.
my lord.
This haunting footage will later reveal the deadly attack inside Macy's.
No.
And with it, the chilling realization that Macy's may not have
No.
been his initial target. Meanwhile, officers systematically move from store to store, locating survivors.
Bro.
Throughout the night, emergency dispatchers receive a staggering 675 calls from those in hiding. Witnesses,
Dang.
people seeking information, and families desperately trying to locate their loved ones.
My girlfriend's mom works at Macy's, and
What?
I just told her what's going on, and I'm trying to find information for her. Her mother's name is Shayla Martin.
Oh my lord.
As
I'd be
survivors are
crying.
evacuated, a bus arrives
I'd
to
be crying if
transport
she's
them
like,
to His Place Community
like gone.
Church, the
No.
designated reunification site where anxious families wait, hoping to see their loved ones walk through the doors. But some refuse to board, unwilling
Bro.
to leave without knowing if their loved ones are safe.
So I have one more person who missed the bus and is missing his daughter. Was his daughter on the bus? No, she was in Macy's.
Investigators
Oh my
work
lord.
urgently to
Wait, they
obtain
have, like, buses?
CCTV
Wait, hold
footage that
on.
will soon reveal the truth about what happened during those
Oh my lord.
terrifying minutes.
Oh my
But
lord.
before they can begin to
They
piece
have his
together the
face.
full
Just hunt him
story,
down, bro.
their
He
first
can't go that
priority is
far.
clear.
He can't go
Track
that
down
far.
an unidentified
I'm like,
killer
let's
who
be
is
for real,
still on
guys.
the loose
If
and could strike
if
again
everything
at
is,
any
hold on,
moment.
like,
One witness
let's be for real. You have his face. You probably seen him go inside of a car and or take a walk somewhere and hid something of a weapon of a sort. And then it would make sense if some cops were outside, in my opinion, and just like ran out there and just went crazy on it. I'm talking about like hey, stop, and then they get the dogs, and the dogs have weapones in their mouths, and then everything is chasing them, and then the freaking airplanes come from the sky, and then they start tracking him down. The bro, justice. That's how I think the justice system work. I don't know.
told investigators she saw the shooter retrieve the rifle from the trunk of his car, which she described as a blue
Oh,
four-door
no.
sedan with a large dent in the side.
Guys,
Street
if you have that
cameras
car,
captured a similar
I'm
vehicle
telling-
leaving the area at the time of the shooting. By the following day, the suspect was still on the loose, leaving investigators turning to the public for help. They circulated a photo from Macy's CCTV in the media and set up a tip line, receiving more than 300 leads. Most led nowhere.
See,
but
he
one
just
name
looked
came up
angry.
multiple times.
See, guys, this is why therapy exists. Because people like him. Like, bro, why you look so angry? Like, why are you so mad? You wanted to hurt everybody in their freaking mama of their freaking existence for no reason, bro.
Hi, my name's Emma, and
Poor Emma.
I saw pictures on Facebook of the suspect, the shooter, and I think I might have an idea who it is.
Oh.
What's the name you think of the person you know? His name is Arjan Chetin, and he's from Turkey.
Allegedly.
So it's a little strange name, but it's spelled Arcan.
And what was the last name?
Chetin, Cetin.
20-year-old Arjan Chetin, who was born in Adana,
Guys, remember
Turkey,
that
and
face.
immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 6.
How dare
is
he?
now a key suspect. Detectives locate Arjan's mother, Hatice, in the hopes she can provide confirmation of his identity.
Are you aware that there was a mall shooting last night here in Burlington? I watching TV. Okay.
Oh, no.
So we have been given information that your son is the one who's responsible.
Yeah, your son is responsible, man.
So
what are you gonna do?
Turn
him in. Turn him in.
So,
Me personally, this is my opinion. I'm literally, personally, if I had a kid and then they were freaking doing this stuff, I'd turn them in immediately. I don't care if you in your right mind decided like to do stuff like this and something drove you like insane or whatever mentally, okay, therapy is going to be first, obviously. But for somebody to go out there and do something like this, you're going in. You're not running away. You're not running away, because running away would be like the stupidest thing ever. I feel like you're like running away, you're just adding more time to your life. You might as well just turn yourself in. First off, for somebody to even put this to their thought of mind is to say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. You're crazy. Like weirder than you're equivalent to the DC Comics Joker crazy. Like, bro, like who would who would in their right mind say, yeah, let me do that real quick. Let me get everybody in their mama and do stupid things. No. Like, no. Thank you. I'm just giving opinions. What do you guys think, chat? I think that's a crazy thing for somebody literally, instead of getting therapy, they literally sat there and they just said, you know, I deserve to do something stupid with my life instead of paying a few extra dollars for this. I'm gonna pay a few extra dollars for a weapon. Like, how lazy are you gonna be? You just wanna ruin yourself more, and then you're gonna be in jail, and then you gotta make sure you don't drop the soap. Like, bro, like, bro, who chose that life? That's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what goes through criminals' minds, but as a person who goes through a lot too, no. Me personally, no. I would not suit down to that level because I think that's stupid, in my opinion. Anything bad like that is bad, and yeah, pretty much. But yeah. Back to the video.
Hatice explains that Arjan was in Oak Harbor with her and her husband for dinner around 4 or 5 o'clock before leaving for his job at a local restaurant.
Do you remember what
Job.
you were wearing this today?
Tisk tisk.
So I didn't get there.
Normal people.
Probably like his shirt. Short and t-shirt.
Shorts and t-shirt? Mm-hmm. Okay.
The
What
poor
color
mom.
was
She
he
probably
wearing?
doesn't know
I believe
anything.
like
I'm
in
not gonna
navy
lie. She
blue,
probably doesn't know what's
navy
going
blue.
on.
and then t-shirt. The
She probably
color
just got a
was
giant
dark.
list and said, oh my lord,
But I don't
what's
remember
happening with
what
my
was
own
writing
kid?
on it. I want to show you a picture. Okay. And
Why he look
I want
like
you to
that?
take your time and look at it.
He
And-
looks so
and tell me if it's your
mad.
son.
Like, bro needs therapy.
That's him.
If he decided to do
He
something
shot and killed
stupid.
5 people yesterday. Oh my god,
Guys-
I'm so sorry. Oh my god, where did you find the gun? I don't know. We're still looking into that.
Yeah,
I
where
don't
did
know
he
the
find a
answer. I
weapon
don't
on
know.
if he doesn't
I
have
don't
some in
know
the
if
house?
my husband knows where he sees
See what I
guns.
mean?
Arjan's
He spent that extra
stepfather
money for
David, a
nothing. That
retired
$50,000,
U.S. Navy
$100,000 could have
serviceman,
went to
is also
nice
shown an image
trip
of
to the
something he
therapist.
may recognize.
Does that .22 rifle stand out to you?
It looks like my rifle.
When David checked the place where he normally stored the firearm, He discovered the .22 caliber rifle was missing and confirmed Arjan knew
lemonade
exactly
picture.
where it was kept.
I got ad. Sorry guys, I'll pay for premium when I have the money, but right now I need health. I need health insurance.
And has he shot that specific
I
gun?
need health insurance
He
for
hasn't
premium
passed
on
yet.
YouTube.
So he knows how to handle a 22. at
Sorry.
least.
I've taught all my kids how to handle a gun. Plus, he was in ROTC on the shooting team.
Okay. So he knows how to
Guys,
do it
don't
pretty
ever
well.
own one of these.
Okay. Has Arjan talked to you
Unless
all day?
you're a person
No,
who
I have not talked
hunts
to him
animals, like
since he left yesterday.
as in food,
What was he driving
not
yesterday?
people
My
or
wife's
something weird.
2005 Chevy Cavalier.
Okay. You know what color that is?
A Chevy.
Okay. Anything about the car that would stand out?
It's a four-door.
He ain't got money,
and
but he
both
got
back
something.
doors are dented in.
Investigators
And that's
confirmed
not-
Arjan's vehicle had a dent that was consistent
And that's
with what
that's
witnesses
mental
stated.
problem. That's on
Between
mental
that and a
problems.
positive identification from his photo,
I'm
the
joking,
shooter's
guys.
identity
Not every
was
person that has a
confirmed to be
Chevy.
Arjan. For
What's
his
it called?
mother,
I'm just,
the confirmation was
I don't know.
devastating.
I'm in shock
I'm just
now. I'm sorry.
making the person
I can't
more
believe that
content
shit.
by
Oh
me
my God.
reacting,
So-
and I'm just reacting
my
to
God.
people, and I'm making. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm
need
existing.
smoke. Okay.
Everything's all
I'm gonna give
satire.
you just a second before we go smoke, okay? I want you to.
Well, except for this is serious, but also my opinions are funny. I don't know. Oh no! Is she crying because her son is innocent, or is she crying because she's stressed out because she felt like she didn't raise the son? Me personally, if I was in the mom situation, I would have been like, no. I was like, I
With his
raised my
identity
kid.
revealed,
My
the hunt
kid
for
turned
Arjan
out like
began.
this. Why
Cameras
he's smirking like?
capture Arjan on the night after the
He
attack.
think he's
entering a
the green
convenience
Eminem.
store. Several minutes later, what appears to
He
be an
think he's the
officer
green
or security
Eminem for
guard
freaking
enters,
the
but
Eminem
finds
commercials.
nothing amiss.
You know you have
As
the
Arjan
blue
checks
one,
out, the
the
man
yellow
behind the
one, the
register
red
has no
one.
idea
He
he's
think he's the
face to
green
face
one with
with a
the
murderer
glasses.
who just took the
He
lives of
think he's
multiple
her.
innocent people. He exits the store and vanishes into the night on his way to the highly
Bro.
populated city of Seattle. On September 24th, he
He's
enters
like,
the
let me
iconic
smile at the
space
camera
needle,
like that.
where he casually eats lunch and enjoys the sights alongside
Yeah,
unsuspecting
everybody looks so
tourists.
happy.
Nearly 24 hours after the mall attack, Arjan returns to his apartment in Oak Harbor, where police
Bro,
have been
what?
conducting surveillance and place him under arrest. In the
Number
days following,
15.
Arjan is interrogated multiple times without
What
success,
was?
answering questions
No,
with
real.
"I don't know," and often smirking at
Hi, welcome
investigators.
to the stream.
I don't know. I can't say. I can't.
Bro
say.
think
I
he's the
can't
one
say.
slayer or some
I
stuff.
can't
He
say
think
that.
he's
It
he's think
isn't
he's
until
him or
November
something.
2nd that he finally agrees
'Cause
to
what is he
explain what
doing
happened
here,
at the
bro?
Cascade Mall and the twisted logic behind
Instead of
his
ooh, I'm with
actions.
therapy,
Why
I go do
Cascade
something
Mall?
silly.
I don't know. Because there's a lot of
He's
places.
been
I mean, you're from
on
Oak Harbor. There's a lot of places
main
between Oak Harbor
character
and
syndrome.
Burlington.
No, real.
What made
Like,
the number of people? Okay. The mall was a big place.
bro
Okay.
thought he was him.
And
Like, what is
so
he
why
doing?
Macy's?
Oh, everybody's gonna feel it. Feel what?
I just
Like, what?
went in there. And where did you go first?
Like,
At Cascade Mall.
Cascade
Okay.
Mall.
And well, I was gonna.
Guys.
Actually, I was gonna go in the theater.
Guys.
But
I
the
know my
doors are
places.
one
Let's
way,
just say that.
So you can't just walk in.
How
So
dare
you actually
he?
went into the theater? Yeah. Okay.
How dare
And what
he
did you
in
do
this
when you went in the
country,
theater?
in this
I went inside
lifetime,
theaters and looked
in
at
this
places that
lifespan?
had people. Okay. So to get
I don't
back
care.
into that
Guilty.
area, can you just
Allegedly.
walk around in there, or do you have to do something? I
Don't
bought a
sue
ticket.
me.
Okay. You want to take it to actual movie?
Allegedly.
Okay. I was gonna watch. I just bought it. Okay. To get
Guys,
to get
how
it
much you
back.
want to bet he's gonna
This
say he has a
bone-chilling
twin?
confession comes just 4 years after the 2012
What?
mass shooting at a
What?
movie theater in Aurora, Colorado.
A theater? Hold
where
on.
12
Wait.
people were
Let's have a moment. These are places where I would go. Guys, this is scary. I'm not gonna lie. Like, bro, they really think they're they really think they're him. Like, stop. If they could spend $1,000 plus just for a weapon in their hands to go, tee I'm gonna go do some bad things. Tee that's them, literally. If they could spend that much on that, they could literally just, here's my money to a therapist. I need help. Maybe they just don't want to be, you know what? Maybe because if I was a therapist, I would put them in that white room. Not for free though. Like, I put them in that white room, you know, when the SpongeBob went through or whatever. That was pretty funny. Anyway, I guess he thought he felt like an anime character with that red hair. Nothing's wrong with it, but we gotta bully him somehow. Content wise.
Killed in one of the deadliest attacks in U.S. history.
Like,
After
bro.
gaining entry to the theater by purchasing a ticket for the movie
theater?
Snowden, Arjun heads to the back exit
Theater?
door and props it open with his cell phone, planning to return later. A man notices the phone and turns it into an employee, unaware that this simple act may have saved countless lives. One witness recalls encountering Arjun as he returned, only to find the phone was gone.
He wanted to know about his cell phone. He thought I had his cell phone. He was really aggressive, agitated, wanting to know where his cell phone was, what I had done with his cell phone. Something to that effect. I mean, like, there were like 3 exchanges that I finally said something like, "Get the hell away from us, you're crazy," or something. I mean, the final time I was annoyed.
It's crazy. Where's my phone?
Like really
Where's my phone? I plan to do diabolical things. Like, bro, sir.
Surveillance footage next sees Arjun return to the kiosk, telling the female employee the phone fell out of his pocket.
And you say you work in some theaters?
Right.
Okay.
No,
and how do you remember how many?
Like, until I found one with like plenty of people.
No, because why are
Okay,
you being
when you say
panicked over
20
a dang
people,
phone?
I mean, how many
When
people
he
working
could
for?
literally just,
The whole
I
theater.
don't
The whole
know.
theater?
Arjun is seen entering theater
Oh, that's
11
great.
multiple times throughout the evening. Later that night, a 911 caller reported spotting a
Yep.
suspicious individual.
I know this law.
We were sitting in the back, and I was right next to the aisle, and he
Definitely.
came in just to my right, really, like he flew open the door and ran in, and he said, "Oh," and then he stopped and turned around and ran out. And I turned to my
Bro.
wife, and I said, "I think he was in the wrong theater." And after everything happened, I thought maybe that it might be possibly the shooter.
Guess which student has a better chance of
Guys,
getting into an
guess
ICD
what I'm
school?
gonna do
First,
to this
take a look at Zach.
ad.
He's valedictorian.
Skip.
Investigators
Get your
determined
money,
that the
though.
32 people in theater room 11 were likely his target. They also noted that the guests in this theater would have been close to exiting by the time he returned, meaning
Right.
the only other theater with guests left inside would have been
How
the
does he get all
children's
this
movie
evidence? Is
playing
he
in
like
room
an
number
FBI agent and
13.
he just makes videos
Whether
about
he
it?
would have targeted children is a question he'll soon confront.
I don't
and
know.
One of many harrowing
Allegedly.
revelations yet to come.
And had you not found
Allegedly.
your phone, what would you have done?
Shot them
Okay, where would you have shot?
in the head.
Okay, I know in the head, in their seat. So were you waiting for him to come out?
In their seats.
Okay.
Just like to the back of their seat.
So you were just gonna go down the aisle and just headshot him?
Yeah.
Just in the back?
Right.
Bro, you wanna know what's crazy,
How
guys?
full was the theater?
He plans to do stuff like this, but me and my friends literally a few weeks ago were like, let's go to the movies. Yo. It's not funny. A few weeks ago, me and my friends literally said, let's go to the mall. Are we like asking for a horror movie or or are we like asking for a horror movie? Like what? No. People just live their lives and just like I don't know. People need to like start living their lives or something and just freaking enjoy it instead of doing silly things like this that doesn't make any sense when we could literally sit here and freaking we're already stressed. Why add more stress to it? Anyways, BetterHelp, please sponsor me.
It was just people that were more than those in my gun.
Okay. How many people do you think in that manner, how many people do you think you could have got?
All 25 for how many bolts I had.
When his plan unraveled,
25.
Arjun set out to find a new one.
He said, "I'm
staking out
bold."
multiple areas of the mall while his gun remained in the
Somebody
trunk of his
get
car.
him the heck out of my
And then what
face.
happened
Like
next?
I drove to the Macy's side.
Okay.
he think he's
And
like
then, and then what?
the best person in the
Scoped the
freaking
place out
world.
again.
Okay. And also,
I could have
to the
got all
Chuck E. Cheese
25. I could have got them
Okay.
all, you
And so
know.
you scope out,
If I just like
and
did
kinda
it
what's going
though.
through your mind as you're
If it's
scoping
not
out?
children, it's women. If it's not
all the
children,
places I'm gonna
women,
hit.
it's children with men.
And so
The
you walk
children,
through
the
Chuck E. Cheese.
men,
Why do you say Chuck
the
E. Cheese?
kids, and then them.
Nah,
You know what I mean,
was
guys.
trying to work up a nerve.
You were trying to what?
Work up a nerve.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
I mean, if you would have more people,
I'm so
there was more people in
tired.
there.
Okay. So,
There were children. So, because it's just
children's place. So did you have an aversion to not wanting to do that to children, or I didn't care?
After admitting that his presence in a children's place would be suspicious,
Oh
Arjan says
my.
he then got in his car and drove around to the entrance to the women's Macy's.
Ain't
With
no
unnerving
way.
clarity, he exposes the full extent of the horror he unleashed.
And so then you walk in, see the first person. Where did you see that person?
By some clothing racks.
Okay. And so, was that just the first person you saw, or you just...
Yo.
Okay. And what happens when you see her?
Shoot her.
Okay. You remember how many times?
2.
Okay.
Surveillance shows a young teenager shopping in the juniors' clothing section as Arjan lifts his rifle. Seconds later, she falls and disappears from view behind the clothing racks. The first sounds of gunshots were heard by several shoppers, who initially failed to recognize them for what they were.
We heard popping noises, and originally I was like, oh, that's weird, fireworks are going off. And then it hit me, I was like, that's gunfire. And so we heard, preceding the first couple pops, there was yelling and screaming. What caught my ear the most was just the victim screaming, and it wasn't anything intelligible. It was just pretty scared screams.
Did she say anything at all, the first one?
It was too fast. I just emptied.
Okay. What about the second one?
He said, I'm sorry.
He said, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
When did he say that?
When I shot him in the leg.
Why did he say I'm sorry to you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh.
So you shoot him in the leg, and then tell us what happens.
Falls down.
Okay, when does he say I'm sorry?
Oh my lord.
Before I shoot him. Kill him.
Okay, so he's looking at you. Okay. And he says, I'm sorry. And then after him, where do you go?
Oh.
The plates where the 3 women were hanging.
The foot.
Hold on, guys. You're telling me he literally said he shot the dude that said I'm sorry and decided to go to the stream. Oh my god. Go to the stream. We're currently reacting to true crime, link description, all that stuff. So guys, you're telling me he literally was sitting up there, shot the dude who was pleading for his freaking life, by the way, because me personally, I'm saying whatever psychology trick I have up my freaking sleeve. Ooh, cool. Yeah. Me personally, I'm saying I'm sorry. I'm saying freaking I apologize. I'm saying every psychology trick because what he did was a psychology thing. How I know? I'm smart. Therapy, guys, pay me please. Anyway, anything to literally freaking live. Like, bro, that's crazy. Freaking, oh my lord, bro pleaded for his freaking life. I don't know.
Footage then captures an employee ducking behind the counter in the cosmetics section. Nearby, a woman struggles to help her elderly mother, who appears unable to run.
Where are you from?
The 3 women attempt to hide together, but tragically, Arjan
bro.
discovers them. He shoots the employee as she desperately tries to crawl away, then mercilessly turns his weapon on the woman and her mother.
Do they say anything to you?
No.
Okay.
What?
They scream or anything like that? The whole store screaming.
One witness, who was initially mistaken for a suspect due to hiding from police, had only just arrived at the mall when the shooting began.
So tell me, what did you do immediately when you got out of the car?
White shirt, so they think it was like a flag of surrender, right?
What did you do immediately when you got out of the car?
I walked up to the door and asked if the movies would still
Bro
be
think
open,
he's
and
him. He think this
said
is
the whole
cute.
mall's
Like, go
being
home.
closed because there was a shooting.
All
And
he
then
needs is a
everybody
good
needs to
meal.
leave, and they started telling everybody to
All
leave.
he
Everybody
needs is a
started
good
moving away from
meal
the doors.
and
I said, "Everybody
freaking
get out
sleep.
Where was it that the police
Was he just
state
mocking
patrol
them?
that ended up
Bro is another
where
freaking
did they come in contact with you? Where
level
did they get
of
you at?
When I was by
insane.
and pointed out my name on the license plate.
Okay.
They told me to get down, and that's why I kept walking around the car because I knew they knew I was in trouble.
Okay. Did you know?
I can't freaking do the high pitch right now because my freaking mic won't pick it up. But he's like, he. Like, bro, what are you crying for? You're the one who freaking. cause the alleged mass craziness. Like what? Like not not girls saying no real like bro is literally. How do you think the person that said sorry felt? Like the person that freaking said sorry, how do you think they felt? Like, bro, like wah 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 wah. Literally, like, what do you think they felt? Like, the dude said I'm sorry, and tried to psychologically tell you it's okay. Put the thing down. Whatever you're going through, put it down. Like, don't hurt me over your freaking issues. This is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. As a person who works in a very crazy industry for working, people will literally come up and yell it into my ear, I would say, and be like, I want this, that, and the third now. I'd be like, I'm sorry. Anything else I can get for you? No, literally it's a habit at a person that feels bad for somebody else's like freaking anger, and that angers me. You wanna know why? Because me personally, I would have done that. I would have said I'm sorry because I'm genuinely sorry. I don't care how mad you are. I don't care how sad you are. I'm sorry for whatever happened, and I hope it gets better. Because somebody will literally come up to me and start yelling, and the customers, let's put it in that way, and the customers freaking thing, and I would say I'm sorry, and then I ask them anything else they need or anything else I can help you with. And then I give them their thing and I say I hope you have a good day. And then at the end they calm down. And they're like, "Thank you. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "It's okay. It happens." Cuz sometimes people go through a lot of things, and sometimes a sorry is all they freaking need in their life. Even if it's from somebody freaking random, this is what I mean. Like, bro could have literally paid, instead of getting that random pew pew, not supposed to be freaking in their, I don't even know where he got it from. Their mom even said, I don't know where he got it from. See what I mean? All they freaking need is a, I'm sorry, it'll be better, it's okay. Let's solve this in a correct way. I feel like that's all simple humans need. And insane people like this is what I mean. I said if I was a therapist, I literally would throw that man in a freaking, well, I don't even know what they identify as. My apologies. I would throw that human being in a freaking chamber with cotton pads and all that stuff. Like they would be in a psychology little crazy room, and maybe that's all they need. A little like rest there, eat a meal, calm down a bit, take some things that calms their mind a little bit, helps them, let them write down things that, because sometimes, sometimes you just need a journal. These people out there that always be like, oh, you need a journal, oh, you need to note things down, you need to do it at least once a month, at least once a month, guys. I mean, like a journal or a freaking breather or at least a meditation, because there's too much in people's brain right now. There's too much toxins, too much back and forth every freaking day. Even if you're a freaking minor, like, bro, even if you're a freaking kid, back and forth from your parents, back and forth from school, back and forth from literally having to do work, there's a lot of things, you know? No, real. Like, wait, give me a second. Where is this anger actually coming from? No, real. Like, bro, I feel that from a deep level. Like, there's times when I literally was just, like, doing my job. And I literally be like, what? Where's this anger coming from? Like, I don't take it out on people. I just be like, okay, yeah. I just say, okay, yeah, yes. I nod my head, and that's it. But I keep that bottled in. But I realize it's just stress. And that's how I accidentally injured myself. Because I literally kept pushing myself further and further and further and further and further. Because I know people, like, if you don't say no and you don't set boundaries, people will use you until you drop every limb on your body on the floor. And that's literally how I'm injured. But anyway, that's literally relevant. But people sometimes just gotta freaking be like, hey, am I okay? Does this hurt? Something just happened. Does it hurt? Something just did this, and does this mentally hurt me? Does this physically hurt me? And that's not a good thing, regardless. And if something like that happens, like for instance, let's say if it's a work thing and it's mentally draining you, save up, get a new job. I know it might not be that easy, but sometimes it's good to cut ties. And if it's a freaking school thing, sometimes you just gotta hold on to your mental, do what you can, and not really like, you know. And if the classes are way too hard for you, like for instance, if it's school, ask if there's an easier grade level. I don't care if they call you slow or special or anything that's very freaking offensive. You know, I'd rather be called that rather than them failing the whole class and have to retake it. Heck no. I'd rather be in the slow classes or whatever they want to freaking call it. I don't care because trust me, I was in those classes. But and like for instance, for certain things like reading and like stuff like that, I was in those quote unquote slow classes. But for like freaking what is it called? For like science stuff, I'm really good at science, so they put me in the smart classes or whatever, advanced classes. That's stuff that I went through and that things like I could talk about. And I wasn't there was a time when I wasn't even in psychology, but I was in the freaking like class, if that makes sense. Because the teachers were like, "Oh, the teacher's out, yada yada yada." And I've learned a lot just from that. And that made me to this day want to do a certain job career that helps people. But yeah. And having my own opinion. But anyways, it's me yapping literally is nothing. Back to the video.
Okay, well you're okay now, Blade. You're all right now.
He literally
Get control.
That's
You're
literally him.
fine, and you're okay. Did you know they were police officers?
Like, why is he whining?
Yeah, as soon as I seen their military rifles, I knew they were. I just didn't want them to shoot me too. Like, I was a bad guy. I wasn't bad.
Okay.
While survivors
Like,
struggle
bro,
with emotional scars,
I
those who
understand
lost
he
loved
went through
ones
a
are
mental
left
thing, but
grieving.
bro should not freaking do
AI
this.
note taker is different.
Guys, I don't have
RS.
premium. Don't be
It
mad at
allows you
me.
to focus on your meetings, not your notes.
Among the victims are 16-year-old Sarai
Oh,
Lada,
my.
a cancer survivor, 61-year-old Wilton Charles Chuck
Oh,
Egan, a
my.
Boeing maintenance worker, 52-year-old Shayla Martin, a Macy's makeup artist, 64-year-old Belinda Goldie, a probation officer in Snohomish County, and her mother Beatrice Dotson, who was 95 years old. In the aftermath,
Yeah, there's a lot of
security
old
guard
women that
recalled the
shops at
moment he rushed
Macy's. I
into
will say
Macy's
that.
and saw the victims,
It was a funny
only to
interaction
later
when
meet
I
their
had with one of
families
them. It was the
outside
best
the mall.
interactions of my
Spent 8
freaking
years
life.
as a combat
10 out of
medic
10.
in
I would
Vietnam
love to
and all
work
that.
there if I
I
could.
don't want to be crass, but I know dead when I see dead.
She was
The
so
thing that bothered me
sweet.
the
I
most
love
is I came
her.
around
Let's just
over
say
by
that.
Macy's, and there was a gentleman standing there leaning up against his car, his truck. And I said, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you. You need to leave." And he says, "Well, I can't. My wife and my mother-in-law are in Macy's shopping." And he described them. Guess who I was looking at when I walked in there? Okay. So I said, "All right, sir, I just need your name and I'll let officers know you're here." And as I turned, I saw another gentleman, Hispanic male, smoking a cigarette. I said,
This
"Sir, you need to
dude.
leave." And he said, "F you, I'm not leaving. My 16-year-old daughter's in there shopping." And by this time, I'd already gotten wind that there was more than two. And I just went, "Good God, these people are going home alone tonight." And there's nothing I can do. And I found I really had a problem because I had to lie to them.
The security guard recalled speaking with the employee Shayla just before her shift began.
The unfortunate thing is that just before 3, as I was coming into the security office, I did say hello to the young lady who was killed in Macy's.
You do remember
seeing her?
Interacting with
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she'd sit outside, she'd smoke a cigarette and read a book. And then she'd always have, "Hi, hope you have a good day. I hope you do too." You know, and it's one of those things that you never really think twice about. But then you realize, we're only a breath away.
Investigators are on the verge of
Oh,
uncovering
my
the
Lord,
dark
guys.
impulses that fueled Arjan's rampage. But before they do,
Feed him
Arjan
to the
details
hyenas.
what unfolded after the massacre and the
Feed
horrifying
him
next
to the
steps he had
hyenas.
in
He don't
mind.
need jail. He
They're
needs
coming
hyena.
around
He need to be hyena
towards
food.
shit toward
Put him in freaking, I don't know,
north.
lava.
And she's
Dip him in
coming.
lava.
I'm like,
I don't freaking
I got
know.
out of there before they,
He needs.
you know,
worse than a freaking, and then like make him live after that. I want him to feel that pain. Like, bro, I don't want him to die. I just want him to feel
of
it.
law enforcement in
And
Burlington,
then put him in jail.
Arjan began his drive to Seattle.
Like, I got a special place for you. The hyenas come out, start biting on him, put lava on his wounds, and be like, oh, we patched it up. Remember? We patched it up, didn't we? Didn't we? And then he's like, no. And you feed him back to the hyenas, pour more lava on him. Didn't we? Oh, don't think we're gonna make you die. We're just gonna let you live during this, by the way. And then he's like,
Pike Place is a massive outdoor market
or
with
whatever.
more than
He's like
220
whining and stuff,
independently owned
and then
shops and restaurants, and sees thousands of
just let him
visitors per day.
freaking melt in jail, prison, or whatever's the worst one. He needs that. Put him in a underground cell, and then put him like feed him only like freaking bread for like 2 days, and then the other 2 days is just freaking, I don't know, bugs. I'm joking. I'm not serious. I do not want to hear tears from him. He said,
purposely run.
Wow.
That inspired me. Arjan shows investigators and an FBI agent
Show me
a
his
copy
laptop.
of the magazine, along with instructions he said he once used to create a bomb, which ultimately failed.
What?
In an interview with investigators, Arjan's ex-girlfriend Molly described the cold and detached way he once spoke about the Oklahoma City
Oh, she's
bombing,
pretty though.
a terrorist attack which
She's
occurred
really
in
pretty.
1995. There was a bomb that went off in a city, and it blew up the whole
I'll
entire
have his
place
ex-girlfriend.
with the kids'
I'll take
daycare
her.
in it.
I don't care.
And there's a memorial for it.
Won't be mine.
Yes. And I was talking about
That
how sad it was.
mine.
That's not that sad.
That's why it's his ex-girlfriend, because I took
I was
her.
like, what do you mean? That's horrible.
Like,
They were
you love
children.
me?
When I went in there, there was like people, like, half
Like, you want me,
torn
baby
up
girl?
shoes of children and toys and stuff like that they showed.
Take you.
I was like, no, somebody probably did something.
She's
to
like
deserve it.
super pretty. You sure that girl's not
I was
a
like,
not a
there's
model?
bunch of
Like,
people that even if one person did something horrible,
let me go look at what her
why not
Instagram.
all those people are blown up? Why not talk to somebody? Interact with, like, that's how you do
She's
it.
super pretty.
As the investigation
No,
unfolded,
baby girl
those
went away.
closest to Arjan were questioned.
I didn't even hear a word
revealing
what she's saying. All I heard was,
unsettling glimpses into his
"You love me,
behavior
I love you."
and the early indicators of a deeply disturbed
He think he's him.
individual.
Get him out my. Oh, get him out my freaking. Guys, don't worry, I got it.
He never really had a lot of friends.
According to his mother, Arjan is
He think he's
diagnosed
him.
with ADHD
Guys, he think he's
and
him for real.
suspected of having autism.
Ew.
He also struggled with
oh.
PTSD and depression,
Oh,
conditions she
oh.
said stemmed from traumatic experiences during his childhood in Turkey.
So what happened to
We are
therapy?
having some problem with him, and he's on probation for 5 years.
Wait,
so
hold on,
he's
guys.
not
Let's be logical
here
here.
for- yeah, domestic.
He was diagnosed with these things ever since he was little, correct? So what happened to going back to therapy, going to the therapist consistently, having those constant medications if needed? If the medications are not helping, take them off and put him on something else. If those aren't working, okay, we're gonna try natural methods. Back to therapists though. Don't get disattached with a therapist. Unless you're like me and can't afford it. But then again, you can also do financial aid if your parents definitely if keyword if your parents help you, and he was lucky enough have a freaking parent to help him. Me, no lucky. Me, I stay and I try to stay sane naturally. Watching YouTube. Literally. Sometimes multiple deep breaths. Sometimes I drink a lot of water and I make sure I'm okay. 'Cause sometimes you just need that. But what happened? Like, did his mom just say no? Like, there's like multiple sides of a story. So there's not just, you know what I mean? Hello, welcome to the stream. Also, I forgot to make that account. I'm injured actually. Long story short, I got hurt on job and I do gotta make another account. But I do have a lot of kitties, little children on my channel. Workers comp? Yeah, basically. Long story short, yeah. Long story short, yeah, a lot of stuff like that. But pretty much from there, I'm taking care of myself and I'm watching, well, basically reacting for like a few days. If it does get worse, I will be most likely not streaming for a very while, so it'll be inconsistent streaming for the past 2 weeks from now on, sadly. But until then, we're just reacting. Pretty much this guy still he's a bad guy and he does weird things and I think he should be, like I said, if what happened to his therapist. Hello. Hello YouTube, hello Twitch, hello everybody. I think that's the only thing I have, YouTube and Twitch. Yeah. What happened? Um, as the video? The video is he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. He deserves to be fed to hyenas and then burned. Obviously, not here. Walker's comp. But what happened with me? Very bad injury at job, and I'm basically here now, and I'm reacting to video without injury. So yeah. Pretty much that's it. Long story short, if you don't like gore and all that stuff, you guys probably should not watch this. I actually had a dang, no real. Mine is an arm, and my friend has issues with that they're not what's it called an injury too. That's what I mean. Sorry, English is very hard. Gone. Therapist with this dude. No real like. Popcorn. Was I short? I was already shocked, and then the driver and check, and then injury. I understand. I'm reading your thing by the way. That's what I'm saying. Completely. And then popcorn. Okay, guys, back to the reaction of yeah. This is crazy.
Violation after he break up from first girlfriend.
I don't care if he got to break it up from his girlfriend or his third girlfriend or his fifth girlfriend. All his girlfriends are taken by me. I got all of them on me. They love me.
HAIYA explains that the breakup took a heavy toll on Arjun, while Molly offers
See,
insight
that's
into
my
what
BB.
caused the relationship
That's my girl
to
right
end.
there. I love
How
her.
long did you guys date?
For about 9 months.
Yeah, and then I took her from the 9 months. In that first month, when the last month that they were dating, she saw me and she was like, "Oh, I like you." I was like, "Oh, girl, look at you. She look pretty, don't she?"
9 months.
That's mine. Hello, welcome
And
back.
tell me about your relationship.
It wasn't very good.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
the relationship wasn't good. I was there. I was her best
dad,
friend.
He thought was
Definitely.
His dad was having a conversation about politics one night.
Yeah.
And he thought his dad was looking at me the wrong way, and he attacked his dad.
What do you mean looking at you the wrong way?
Oh.
Getting all your daily nutrients
on.
is hard
Wait.
work, but nutrition gaps in your diet are inevitable.
Body is tea. Skinny.
Like suggestively.
He assaulted
But
me
my body
one
goes
night,
like that
and
one
I
girl.
didn't call the cops on him. When Molly was here, I was sitting on the floor
My
of the
baby girl
garage
off the
talking to
screen.
her, and he just hit me on the side of the head for no reason.
Documents obtained by
On side of the
investigators
head.
confirmed that Arjun was arrested and charged with 2 counts of domestic violence
Guys.
after assaulting his own parents.
Was he ever
There's this one.
that way with you?
Oh, hold on. Let me see.
Okay,
Let me see
tell
what
me
you
that.
guys are saying. Cough. You guys said there's just one story where this man and his son enter the man's house and oofs everyone. Do y'all know Lacey Fletcher? No, I don't know what she. Saddest case ever. Maybe we'll react to that afterwards. Hold on. Whoop. Okay.
He would grab my arm and I'd have bruises at work.
According to interviews with people who
Bruises.
knew him, Arjun engaged in relationships with both
no.
males and females, including the mother of one of his high school friends. Past partners revealed that he was gentle with men, but tended to be
What?
extremely rough and sometimes violent with women.
What?
In his senior year of high school, Arjun was arrested in 2015
What?
for assault
That's
with
sexism.
sexual motivation after he inappropriately
Hold on. How you gonna be bi-curious but be very nice towards men, but then very mean towards women? Regardless of what gender or who they are, how are you gonna be really freaking harsh? This dude is crazy. He said, "Oh, I like girls and women," and then just boom. Sorry, I like women and men, and then he said, "Boom, let me hurt all of them, but mainly be nice to the men." Regardless, even if it was reversed roles, I think that's just silly. Like, just don't do that to anyone. Like what? Also, Ava Wood. Okay. We're gonna check a lot of true crimes out. We're gonna try to make this stream long as possible because I want to get a nice reaction. Because all I'm gonna do anyways when I end the stream is just sleep and watch TV or whatever.
Touched 2 female students. Molly's next revelation is among the most unsettling details.
Guys,
He told me after we broke up that
warning.
he does not.
What?
Sexually?
And it's a boy dog.
According to Molly, this was one of the many reasons she decided to end their relationship right after New Year's, 9 months prior to the shooting. After their break,
Guys, wait, no. Don't ever touch a dog like that. I don't care if it's a man or a woman, but like, bro. Dog? Get him off my screen. Like, what? Go back to baby girl. Like, let that settle in. Like I said, let the hyenas eat him. And then after the hyenas eat him, he's still alive. Burn lava on his freaking wounds. And after you burn lava on his wounds, guess what? If he asks if his wounds are stitched up, he says no. Feed him back to the hyenas. And pour more lava on him. Ask the same question again. He says no. Say, all right, I got you. And do the same thing on the loop. And if he says yes, put him in the jail cell and hand him to Big Tom. Hand him to Big Tom. Big Tom knows what to do. He's gonna hurt him so bad. He's gonna be like, oh, you like dogs? You gonna be my dog. Bark. Big Tom know what to do. You know what I'm saying, guys? Big Tom is going to take care of him. He's going to be like, I don't know. Ava Woods was asleep at a though, and then her dad came in and oh. I don't know which one I'm gonna react to next. I don't know. I'm intrigued. I love me some true crime. I didn't know you guys love true crime too. Y'all not supposed to be watching this. Where y'all parents at? I'm joking. But that's scary. To think in your own home, bro. That's sad.
Like, sexually?
And it's a boy dog.
According to Molly, this was one of the many reasons she decided to end their relationship right after
She looks
New
so
Year's,
pretty. I want
9
her.
months prior to the shooting. After their breakup, Molly
Get
says
on my
Arjun
face.
continued to text her, creating multiple accounts which
Why
she
is it
would
always men
continuously
that look
block.
like this? I'm
Investigators
joking.
learned Arjun was blocked on Facebook by 56 users, most of them females.
After I broke up with him, he messaged me on Facebook and told me he's gonna come down here and rape me.
Okay.
And kill me.
That's
and anybody
horrible.
that got in their way.
As more details emerge, investigators press Arjun for answers about his past.
You're very skilled with a gun. Did you ever play games growing up?
Mario and stuff.
Okay. Okay,
What?
so like when I played, it was cops and robbers, but now they
What?
No, but now they have video games and all.
No, I play tag and stuff.
Okay, but what about video games? Play that?
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Battlefield.
Okay. Which? I don't know that one.
Call of Duty.
Oh, Call of Duty. Okay.
A former friend who used to play
What?
video games with Arjun later recalled concerning behavior during their sessions.
He's very violent in how he talks, like on Xbox.
Skyrim?
Like,
Get that out of my face. He should not be playing Skyrim. If he's good on all of these games, you're telling me he plays Halo, Ninja, I don't know what that is, and then you got another Halo, and then you got Call of Duty. If these right here are red flags in a person, okay? But you're telling me he plays Skyrim with that? Tell him not to touch that game. Skyrim is good. Okay, he makes people like me look bad. Like what? Guys, who wants a Skyrim stream one day?
when we would like start a game or something and we were like having a good time and there'd be like a countdown, it'd be like 3, 2, 1, and then you could just like see him like shooting in the air, like running in front, being like Allah Akbar, like saying something stupid like that.
He'd say that?
Yeah, he would say stuff like that, and we would just laugh, and it wasn't like, I don't know. I see like lots of the media is like saying that he was a terrorist and all this stuff, and like that was definitely not true. I don't think.
He's a red flag.
Meet Billy. He decided to go with Nuvia for his
I should have
dental
asked him what his
implant.
favorite games were. See, if a man comes out of nowhere and says my favorite games are this, that, and the third, and Call of Duty is one of them on his list, block and delete. Click, boom. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, I'm self-defending myself. I don't care. I'm joking, by the way. Because there's some guys that actually play Call of Duty and they're nice people. Some of them just say really interesting things on the game, and then in real life they're just sweet as possible. But they're just very, very rude during the game. Because, you know, same with people that play Fortnite. They do the same thing. They'd be like, oh, you're trash, oh, da 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 da. And then off of the game, they're probably like sweet and like don't harm anybody. And they probably cook you full course meals, and they love you, and they take you out to dinner every 5 minutes. They don't feel like cooking, and then they spoil you and all that stuff. They probably do something like that. There's like multiple people in the world, and then there's people like him, the disgrace of the internet.
You say to somebody who watched the video and said, you know what? You moved swiftly.
But I wish it would pick up on the mic. I was like,
you were dominating
Call
of Duty. What would your response to them be?
Wasn't I play Call of Duty? It wasn't that.
man. He was over there crying
Boy,
for
it
no
was
reason. Like,
smooth.
who's he?
Because there are certain researchers out there that would say
I saw
that
none that one.
playing
It's okay, this
first-person
video's almost
shooter
over.
games prepare you for.
I read things.
You can give me all the ones that you
I
know.
think it's the stupidest thing.
Yeah, how come?
Because it's not Al Qaeda kills people. You don't kill people through Call of Duty.
I'm trying to understand why you decided to walk into Macy's
No, real.
with a rifle and shoot people.
Yeah.
I
What?
don't believe that.
Just because you wanted to kill people. You know, that doesn't make you a terrorist. That just makes you a murderer.
A murder.
As Arjan sticks to his story,
Real.
the tension begins to boil over.
What were you mad at?
Could you?
Hey, now, don't pull that out. I'm just tired of listening to you go into your stories about I can't answer that, I can't. You can't. You just don't want to. So I
No,
really
real.
Who?
The guy, the religious guy, the true believer who looked at you and said,
I'm sorry.
Basically said, I forgive you for what you do right before you put the bullet in his head.
No, I'm not about that.
What did you?
Free him. Free him. Free him. Not the dude in the dude who died, who said, I'm sorry. He basically apologized for whatever he went through. Free him. He needs another life. I don't care what anyone says. I'm mad about that. Like, you were telling me, dude was in Macy's, said, dude went to up the other dude and said, I'm sorry. And then blew his head off. You're telling me people like me would die just for saying I'm sorry? Like, somebody, like I said, the only way to solve this, guys, is putting this man to hyenas. Let him go. No. Right? Devoured, right, bro? Next minute you know, boom. After he gets devoured, put some lava on his wounds. Some of it hurt. Like, bro, it's the only option to literally do this. This is sad. This is depressing. Like, what?
Diesel. When Sheila Martin is crawling for her life, and you shoot Catherine Street, you shoot her
In the back.
and then when
Yeah, that's...
Chris Diamond, 5 years old, she with her teeth beat shielded by her 67-year-old mother, Belinda Garza or Belinda Gawley. What are you
She murdered them.
Why? You can send to say nothing. and let everybody on YouTube and the Facebook
Facebook
world and
world.
everything else paint a picture
Yeah,
of
yeah. Let me paint a
this
picture right
evil
now. Hold on.
sick person.
I'm on the YouTube. I'm on the YouTube world. I think he's the craziest person ever, and I don't care when even if he did say something. I think he deserves to be feed to hyenas. The end. Don't care. Like, comment, subscribe.
Or you can
Like,
choose to tell your story.
Arjun leaves the interrogation room unwavering in his
Like
claim
what?
that the attack was an act of terrorism inspired by Al-Qaeda. But 3 weeks later, he returns with a different story, this time ready to
3
reveal the
weeks
true
later?
motivations behind
Oh, hold
his
on, guys. Let's be quiet.
horrifying
Let's be
act of
quiet.
violence.
Shush, 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 shush.
His new confession, however, is soon followed
He
by
has
an
no
admission
confession.
that
There's no
lays
point.
bare the logic behind his actions
There's no
and
point.
hints at a deeply disturbed mindset.
I was
Fine.
kind of angry.
What were you angry about?
Just life. Just
You don't seem like an angry guy.
just work and school.
What do you mean work in
Everything
school?
kind of stacking up.
How old
Yeah.
are you?
So tell
Like
us
college
everything that
school?
was stacking up.
I'd be angry too, but I'm not gonna go
Just-
freaking. Ooh.
I had to talk to my dad. He was like, "You're kind of not ready for college. You got a financial stuff. Buy a bunch of."
So, guys, I'm about to get livid right now because I don't have two parents who gave two craps about me. Okay, so you're telling me people that have parents, loving parents, that are willingly to be in their lives, giving them all the attention, all the love, supporting them, taking them to therapy without any freaking questions, telling them, "Hey, are you okay?" Asking them questions that are relevant. You're telling me people who freaking gets the freaking world and gets bored and says, "Oh, it's just anger and I wanted to hurt everybody." You're telling me people like me deserves to get injured and hurt and get used and stuff like this from people like them that have amazing lives. He has a mother who didn't even know where that gun came from. Well, I have a crazy life. I had to get away from my own family. Like, you see how the world is weird? You're telling me he has the two parents in his life. Mine both walked out on each other, walked out on me, went to, I don't know what. They had their crazy lives, but I'm still insane but sane. So now we see, like, bro said, "Oh, college, haha." So you're telling me he's around my age? That's crazy. That's freaking ridiculous. You're telling me, like, what? I have loving parents. Personally, I would not be putting Macy's in them. No, real. Like, what? Pulling up on a Macy's in my 20s. Crazy. Like, I would not do that either. Like, bro, you're telling me and him are around the same age, and he's freaking pulling up on Macy's saying, "Oh, college life, yada yada." I don't give a crap. College is going to be hard. You pay people to get your education so you can make more money, so you can pronounce education correctly, so you can be successful, so you can learn how to do things, so you can teach people in the world how to heal off of certain things. That's why there's so many doctors and lawyers and so many people out there in this freaking world, like police officers. There's so many freaking stuff like that. They're in it for the money, but they're also in it to freaking help. They're willing to help. There's gonna be people like the front desk office people that might sit up there and be a little rude to you, but at the same time, they're getting help as soon as they speak to you. They're calming down. They're gonna have their little attitude. So is everybody else in the freaking world. You're gonna be injured. People are not gonna feel really bad for you, but you're gonna be so and so years old, no matter how old you are. You're still gonna be like anybody else. No matter how many times you want to hurt somebody, no matter how many times you want to sit up there and, "Oh, let me go to Macy's and do something stupid." No matter how many times in this freaking world, this is why my own freaking teachers growing up, they were like, "Oh, we know you're gonna be something successful. We know you're gonna be something really big. There's no way you're not gonna just sit around and do nothing." They said, "Are you gonna be probably an officer or maybe a lawyer or maybe," like, even my own grandparents, they were like, "Oh, you're so pretty. You could be a model. You should do model shoots or whatever. You should charge people. You have the body for it, yada yada yada." And I was like, I don't want to be fetishized, but okay, no thank you. And then I was like, I want to do something law enforcement or something like that, you know? But it takes time to get somewhere. Like my forensics teacher, when I went into forensics during high school, I'm an adult, cough cough. Let's just say that. Let's just say, like, bro, my teacher was like, if you guys want to be like an FBI agent, you can still email me even if you're about to get into college phase. Let me know what steps you want to be, yada yada yada. I've decided I wanted to be. I will say that my grandparent was right. My grandpa was right. He was like, "Oh, you should be like some type of doctor," and I was like, "I do want to get into doctory actually." Actually, like I wanted to be a doctor when I was younger, and I didn't know which doctor, but I wanted to be some type of doctor, and on and on. You know, I want to do some art, but I also want to be a doctor. So we'll see. But as a person who psychologically just think this is really crazy, this is freaking insane. If I had a patient like this, I'm putting them in a white room. I'm not just asking any more questions. You're going to the help. Like what? Like bro really think he's him to the point, oh, let me go into Macy's and harm everybody I see. I was not too long ago in Macy's with a few of my friends. Look, I'm being so for real. This is the scariest thing ever. I was just in Macy's with me and my friends. Imagine that, guys. Let's just not too long ago. I was in Macy's. That's crazy. That's crazy. That could have been me, guys. What if you lived in my region? You know, that could have been me. That could have been me. You'll be like, what happened to her? On the news. Like, do y'all want to make a vote? Yeah, it'll be at the end of this video. It's gonna be a vote for your whatever you guys want to watch.
Bills, we gotta pay bills and
Gosh, dang!
So kind of
That's so scary.
So I can totally get why that would frustrate somebody and why that would make you angry.
That is so scary.
But then, what was going to the mall gonna fix?
I don't know.
He has the audacity to cry
That was just
in the
a plan
beginning.
of mine. That was
I did it.
to
Like
try to be
what?
special.
After the mall incident, a former coworker
That's scary.
recalled Arjan once saying he planned to commit a mass shooting, loud enough for others to hear.
Raise your hand
We
if you
know
want.
you're hovering over that button, but we need your help. We have a better button, we promise. Right on time. Not bright enough? Making it flashier for you.
What?
Still not enough?
What are you doing?
Right.
Captain, you tried your best. They don't know what they're missing.
What seemed like a joke then now stands out as a glaring
Oh, my
warning
face.
for what was to come.
And Arjan is just sitting like this, staring at the table and going, man,
Why'd you say the
I still
name?
haven't shot anyone. And
Don't
he
worry,
goes
guys. I'll
right
make
when
the
a
poll.
shooting
Hold on.
happened, too. Like,
You guys are gonna
some
make your
shooting
votes.
somewhere happened. He was
Of
like,
course, I had to
"That's
have
crazy how some
commentary
people
because
can
I'm
do that. Like,
I'm
what
me.
makes them want to do that?" And I was like, yeah, I know, right? And then all of a sudden he was like, I wonder if I could do that. Like, I still haven't shot anyone yet. And I was just like, no, yeah, don't think about it. He's like, nah, I'm really starting to think about it. Like, I have everything for it. And I was like, okay, dude, you do you. I didn't actually believe, like, that would happen. I was like, but it was easy to believe when it did happen because of that specific situation.
Did you enjoy it?
A little bit.
What about it did you enjoy?
Just the killing part.
What?
The killing part? Just putting bolts in the. Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
What?
Tell me about that excitement. Tell me about what's going on in your body.
It was a rush.
As a rush.
I don't know if it sounds like
No, you're not doing that. That's why we're talking.
Have you ever experienced anything else that gave you that kind of rush? No.
So when did the rush start for you?
The first one. Or, well, no, taking the gun out of my trunk. So as soon as you pull the gun out, that's when the adrenaline goes. Yeah.
And then you're like, game on.
Game on.
I think
No.
Jihad or terrorism
Heck no.
is the icing on the cake.
Heck no. This is insane.
Yeah.
Like, bro, he really think he's him, and it's really not freaking cute.
So when
like,
you're
bro,
looking for that
doesn't
level
make any
of fame and
sense.
fortune, where the president knows your name, the president knows who Arjan in Little Oak Harbor, Washington is. The governor knows who Arjan is. All these people across the nation, Fox News in New York knows who Arjan is. All these people know who Arjan is.
I read that as Arcan.
Yeah,
My bad.
Let's throw a little jihad in. That's just
My bad.
icing. But really,
I was about to say, what?
Shia has
His
nothing
name's
to do with
Arcan?
this. Does it? No. Nope. And there is the grin.
In the months that followed, Arjan wrote 4 very long letters, including one to his mother that were about killing staff and inmates, eating people, and serial killers, and his own killings. In one, he writes, "I have no regret. Killing people is fun." According to multiple news sources, he was later charged with 5 counts of aggravated first-degree murder. However, on April 16, 2017, 20-year-old Arjan Chetan was found unresponsive in his jail cell after taking his own life.
He took his
2
own.
notes were found in his cell, one which included a list of notorious killers, Dylan Roof, Ted Bundy, and Timothy McVeigh, who perpetrated the Oklahoma City bombing. Other messages read, "Don't want to spend life in prison," and "I want the death penalty. Life here is miserable."
Oh my lord.
In the aftermath of the shooting, the community established a temporary memorial at the Cascade Mall. Tanya Young, Shayla's daughter, established a memorial scholarship in her mother's name called the Shayla K. Martin Scholarship. The mall temporarily closed during the COVID pandemic and was rebranded as the Burlington Gallery when it reopened in 2024. If you'd like to see select new videos early and help us keep uncovering case files that rarely come to light, you'll find extra footage and unseen details on our Patreon. Channel memberships here on YouTube also include early access to select new videos.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications.
Alright, guys. What do we think? Look, guys, it's Kenji. What do we think? What do we think? That was interesting. That was scary, because that could have been me. Like, as in, dieted. No. What was this? Boondocks. Oh. Alright, we're gonna make a poll. Hold on, let me do a little BRB thing, so boom. Boom. Okay, I just had to do that so when I can cut the video, it'll be a little bit more, you know, whatever. Anyhow. So wait, what was the thing we're gonna react to again? I'm sorry, guys. You said the Hello Kitty case, something like that, right? Guys, I can't type, so I'm gonna have to copy and paste it. My arms, no work, okay? So, like, what do you guys want to watch? If you guys don't know what you want to watch, I can literally, Google something, I don't know. Alright, it's time for the Hello Kitty case because I don't know what you guys do or don't want to watch. Oh, either the Lacey case or the Hello Kitty case. Okay, cool. I just gotta copy and paste it. Because I have an injury and I literally, hold on, guys. Let me Google, not Google, but, you know, search it up. Do y'all know who reacts to it? Or like, not react, but... Oh wait, it's showing my subscriptions. I don't think so. Well, story yet. Be right back. Chain link. Confused. Hold on. Let's see if I can find the Hello Kitty keys. Is it Rotten Mango? Or... It might be...
Wix gives you the power
How am I not
AI
subscribed to
to
any of
build the
these
website
people?
you need.
Maybe it's because it's not on my
Crime.
It's on my probably like alt account that I'm subscribed to these people. Hello Kitty case Rotten Mango. That's what I looked up, but it's not Rotten Mango. It's the other one that I listened to. Kamala, you know what I mean. We're reacting to the Hello Kitty case murder. Shocking content. By Kamala's character. She does funny reactions on YouTube and stuff. Okay, I love her reactions. I don't know how to pronounce it. I haven't watched her in a long time, actually. But yeah, we're watching the Hello Kitty case, and hopefully you guys can say hi to YouTube and Twitch and everything else. Hi guys, the people in the video. Do lazy next. I will. Dang, y'all are demanding. Anyways, here we go. We're gonna start the video with 3, 2, 1, go.
Conspiracy, cults, serial killers, and murder. All things that I love to consume, and I know you do too, you sweet, twisted, beautiful, intellectually minded freak. And today, today's a rough one.
Yes.
Okay, a lot, which is kind of concerning. A lot of you requested I go over the Hello
Isn't
Kitty
she
case. Now
I could be
heard
wrong.
of this here and there. I had
Isn't she Oompaville's girlfriend?
Is it
or
grim?
sister or
So
something
all
like
the
that?
trigger warnings there.
I don't know. I
From
could be wrong.
Torture to hauntings. This case shocked all of Hong
Guys, get your
Kong
popcorn.
and
Get your
the
popcorn.
world. And they called it one of
Do
the
we want some
worst and
subtitles?
most horrible sides of humanity ever seen. So without further ado, let's unbuckle our seatbelts, go Mach 5 down the highway, slam on the brakes, and bust through
Yeah.
this windshield.
Now we
into
are real
this
reaction to
gruesome
YouTuber.
case together.
Guys, it's me. It's me. Disclaimer, this video contains addictive violence and other stuff.
So born in 1976 in Shenzhen, China, Fan Man Yi
Shenzhen,
was
China.
a troubled child. It began
Troubled child,
with her
okay.
living with her parents who decided to abandon her as a child, leaving her to
Real.
end up in an all-girls orphanage in Mata,
Real.
Hawaii. And in the time she was there, she would never be adopted. And with
Real.
an age limit set on taking care of young girls, she was sent into the world alone at the age of 15. I didn't know how to tie my shoes at 15. You know? And as expected, it was an extremely hard life living out on the streets. She experienced the worst type of things. And eventually, she would get herself into the wrong crowd and get addicted to drugs. And this
Ow, my
habit
arm
would
hurts.
lead
Hold on,
her
guys.
to rely on them as it happens with drugs. And the only way to afford said drugs is with money. Therefore, she had to get a job. And that led her into falling into desperation, which led her into Lady of the Nighting, if you know what I mean. YouTube really doesn't like me.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't like that
literally
word.
Any type
Yeah,
of
it's like
terminology that involves Lady of the Nighting for some reason, which I think is weird because it's a very
night
real
women.
thing. But anyway,
you have
eventually,
Nightwing, you have
at
Nightwomen.
21 years old, she was able to get a job at a brothel called Romance Villa in Shamshui-po, where she would be able to pay for her addiction. So right out the gate, I mean, she started off in a terrible situation, went through another terrible situation, which was being in an orphanage, and then was kicked out onto the street at 15 years old. And not that she is the villain at any point in the story, but she is the victim, and I feel like
guys, hold on, let's be for real. Half you guys are probably not even 15 yet. Half you guys are probably not even freaking whatever. But imagine being kicked out at that age, 15. I didn't even know how to freaking, well, I knew how to cook because life happens. But anyways, besides me trying to trauma dump, like, bro, to be honest, that stuff right there is scary. Being by yourself at 15. Like, how are you gonna do anything? Like, be for real. Anyways.
Of serial killers or regular killers or just
Hey,
people
let me
wanting to take
continue.
advantage of
Chat, go
women
watch it.
specifically
Go watch it,
often
y'all.
come from this lifestyle, and it's
Go watch it,
heartbreaking,
y'all.
but that is exactly what would happen to Fan Man-yi. But anyway, she would go on to work at this brothel, and eventually she would cozy up to one of her clients, Eung Chi-yuen, and
Russian
get
meat.
married to said client in 1996. And this guy was a piece of shit, okay? He was not stable at all, and to boot, he was also a drug addict. And eventually, she would give birth to a son 2 years into her relationship in November of 1998. And their relationship was not great, as you could probably guess. Both of them were addicted to drugs. They had quite a abusive relationship as well, with neighbors constantly reporting loud shouting and arguments. And the child, of course, of them doing drugs and yelling at each other would be crying and screaming, so the neighbors would constantly send noise complaints because of them. So it was a less than peaceful environment, as you could imagine. And realizing this was no place to raise her son and her habits were getting in the way of her child, she decided she wanted to turn her life around. So she quit drugs and Lady of the Nighting, two very dangerous things in her life that didn't benefit her son in any way, and decided to work at a different place. And she would eventually get a job as a hostess at a nightclub called Empress Karaoke Club. Love karaoke. And to ensure that her son was truly safe, she would leave her piece of shit, drug-addicted husband and fly solo to take care of her child. But although that she was living a much safer life now, she was not making as much money and was really struggling financially to help her baby and herself. And it wasn't until about a year later in 1997 that she became close with another.
Me personally, I would chuck that baby out the window.
Chen Man-lok, a 34-year-old man. And Chen was not the best person to be friends with if you were wanting to turn your life around. And Fan would begin to fall back into her old life and drug addiction. And after a while, Chan realized that they had a lot in common as well. Fan was a lady of the night and drug addict, and Chan just so happened to be a pimp and a drug dealer. So just match made in hell. Basically. And eventually, after spending so much time with Chan, she would become very familiar with
I just threw the baby out the window.
well. Particularly his two henchmen who were beneath him, named Leong Shing-cho, aged 26, and Leong Wei-loon, aged 21. And Chan wasn't just any pimp, he was a straight-up gangster. Okay, being a part of the Wo Shing Wo triad, a very long-standing gang in Hong Kong. But despite the
he was a bad man.
money was still
he was like
tight.
the bad of
Chan
the bed.
was hanging out with gangsters who were throwing money like no tomorrow, and she started to become really used to that, and she just wanted more and more money. But the next thing that she would do would change her life entirely, and it would change her life for the worst. So on one of their drug binges in 1999, Vaughn stole Chan's wallet with 4,000 Hong Kong dollars.
Okay, so since this is called the Hello Kitty case, is she gonna stuff like her kid in a Hello Kitty thing?
Because she was struggling with money.
I could be wrong.
These guys throwing money at her constantly, she was starting to get used to having a little
I don't know.
bit
I'm just
more
thinking
money, and
criminal right now. Like what people would do as a
that
criminal.
she thought that this was some sort of solution, but it just made things so much worse. And Chan, of course, would find out that he was $500 or 4,000 Hong Kong dollars short, obviously. And the only person who he could blame was the girl that he was drug binging with, and the only person that he was around when the money had disappeared. Fong. So he would then send his goons to contact her, stating that she needed to pay the money back. Which, I mean, she did steal the money, and paying him back, I mean, that's fine, that's all civil, nothing necessarily wrong there. The only wrong thing is that she stole money, but it gets worse than that. Because since she went behind Chan's back and stole his money, he kind of wanted to make an example of her. So he said, you know what, you also need to pay a fee of 10,000 Hong Kong dollars, around 1,300 USD, which is more than double than what she stole. And this was considered interest for stealing his money, basically. And the intention behind that, not only making an example of her, was that now he could force her to work under him to pay off this debt. And this amount of money to recuperate would take a very long time for Fan, especially if she was
dang all that money, no real, like what for?
So she would eventually pay that initial $500 or 4,000 Hong Kong dollars back to Chan, but the rest would—
No, I'm being so for real. What you need that money for? Like, what is she doing with that? Like, I understand you got a baby, you got bills to pay, but like, what else are you doing with it? I don't know.
Take a long time, and Chan was getting impatient. Obviously, Chan wanted Fan
She's too
to
addicted,
learn
guys.
a lesson. The lesson being not to steal from someone who has been so gracious to you.
Just hit her with a bat.
Stop taking meeting notes and let ClickUp AI note
Guys, I don't have
it
premium.
It allows you to focus on your meetings.
And who also had a reputation to uphold as well. Therefore, Chan would send his two henchmen, Leong Wei Lun and Leong Xing Cho, to her flat, which was located in Laiyu Estate on March 17th, 1999. However, it wasn't just the two goons that Chan would send to grab Fan, but also a 14-year-old girl named Ah Feng, who will be important later in the story. So they would take Fan from her apartment and take her to a different apartment on number 31 Granville Road, Shim Sal Sui. And this was a very large apartment complex with over 5 bedrooms. And it was rented by Chan, not owned. However, he had full access to it due to his rent. And the original idea was to teach Fan a lesson, forcing her to work completely under Chan until he was satisfied, pimping her out to any man who would have her. However, before she could get back to work, they would begin to torture her. And this is where all the trigger warnings apply, so just a heads up. Chan, like I said, had changed his mind in getting her to be a lady of the night for him, believing he should make an example of any of the girls who dare cross him. Therefore, she would instead be tortured in this abandoned building, muffling her screams with a dirty rag. And her torture was absolutely brutal. Like, there is a special dark place in hell for the people that did this to her. And it ranged from physical to psychological.
It can't get worse than them hitting her with a metal pipe, right?
She was beaten with metal bars until
I was right.
her bones were all fractured. And she would also be tied up with metal wires that dug
I've never
into
seen
her
this before,
skin,
by
and
the
they
way.
would continually beat her all through the day and all through the night, just taking turns. And the torture would just progressively get worse and worse. These people were incredibly
Guys, I think I should be an FBI agent because I literally solved that without even watching it. Can I get money now?
She would be strangled with a metal wire until she couldn't breathe. They would whip her as well, and she would often dive in and out of consciousness throughout these ordeals, with the pain just being so severe. And to ensure the pain was even worse,
see guys, remember the last case we just reacted to? They didn't do that to that one man. Oh, I just did it for fun. Oh, he needs this. He needs this treatment.
It would put chili powder into her open wounds, just to make it hurt more, just because they're.
See, I thought my ideas to that one dude was brutal.
Methods as well,
chili
such
powder,
as
bro.
Burning her with lighters, and even on one occasion, Chan forced Fan to eat his own feces.
Ew.
Are you okay? I mean, nobody's okay. None of this is okay. But like this poor girl. Like, so awful. But in short, all of the people that were involved with Chan would take part in this torture against Fang. And the young girl, the 14-year-old
what am I reacting
Fang,
to?
known as Ah Feng as a pseudonym, would also reportedly take part in the torture towards Fang. Now, just a little bit about Ah Feng. She was one of the girls that was currently being groomed by Chan. So, I mean, in this situation, I'm going to safely assume she didn't really have a choice. She sees another woman that went against this person that she's with. Also, she doesn't want to be going through that, so she was, I'm going to safely assume, forced to go through this. Just awful. And on one occasion, she would recollect seeing Chan kick Fawn in the head over 50 times. And Ah Feng then also kicked her in the head, like joining in, essentially. And during all of this, just all of this horrible pain and suffering, Fawn was forced to say she enjoyed it the whole time. And they would say that she had to say this in order for it to stop, but they would often just continue to do it and torture her anyway, and in more severe ways. And eventually, as you can expect, Fawn did succumb
the
to
idea
her
the
torture,
people
surviving
what
around
mental capacity do they like? Do they
continuous
not have a
torture
mental
on
state?
either April 14th or April 15th, 1999. That is the day that she died. And this would spark an argument between them, believing that one of the torturers didn't watch over her hard enough, and that she probably got access to methamphetamine to overdose on it, which again, we don't know for sure. Either way, they now had a corpse that they needed to get rid of, and they had a sinister idea of how to do that. Just more
A Science and Kirk success story.
Oh my lord,
Meet
guys,
Pat.
I don't have
Dancing is
money.
her thing, and helping kids through her youth literacy.
Like, comment,
trigger
subscribe.
warnings of getting rid of a body. Just putting
Like
it out there.
what?
So they decided they needed to get rid of this body. So they would drag Fawn's body to an empty bathtub. They would then grab a hacksaw and begin to cut her up into small pieces, therefore making it easier not only to relocate, but also get rid of. However, you can't just throw a body in the trash. The smell will lead others to investigate and throw off their entire operation. So they decided to do something else. They would boil each body part 2 at a time in a big pot. And by boiling the body, it would kill the DNA and germs and be easier to get rid of, leaving little trace. And this pot and stove that they boiled Fawn's body on was the same place that they would cook food that they would eat as well, which is just sickening. But their sadistic thoughts somehow did not end there, because they had extra plans for her head specifically. So due to boiling body parts, most of the time everything would fall off the bone, leaving just the bone exposed essentially. So after the head was completely boiled, they would take the skull and do something completely unthinkable. Supposedly, the home was decorated with a decent amount of Hello Kitty memorabilia. So these insane instead of throwing out the head, would take the skull of Fawn and grab a Hello Kitty mermaid doll and remove the Hello Kitty mermaid doll's head, and then stuff Fawn's skull inside the doll and sew it back onto the Hello Kitty mermaid's body. So Fawn's skull was now inside the Hello Kitty mermaid doll. And they would just set it back on the shelf
this
like
might creep you guys
nothing ever
out.
happened.
Guys, look. You can see the skull. You can see the skull. Bruh, the eye sockets are right there. The little nose is right there. Teeth is like dislocated, so it's kind of here or it might be here. So it's like, oh my, yo. What the actual, bro? What in the actual heck? Here's some lo-fi to ease you guys' mind. Yo, that's freaking crazy. No, real. Where do they get these images? They probably got them from the crime scene. To be honest, guys, that's freaking ridiculous. The thing, bro, you can see the indent. Like, I'm not crazy.
Mermaid doll. And they would just set it back on the shelf like nothing ever happened. And this is where the story of the name of this case comes from. So a few weeks would go by after this whole up event, and they seem to have gotten away with their crime. However, the child in our story, the 14-year-old child, Ah Fong, felt different from what she had experienced and felt urged to go to the police. Now, why, do you ask, would she just randomly decide to go to the police, especially with the danger of Chan finding out anything, you know? But it was because she experienced some paranormal activity. On May 24th, 1999, Ah Fong would go to the police and tell them that she had been haunted for days and nights, even in her dreams, by a woman who was bound with electrical wire and who was tortured to death. Sound familiar? And the police would just blow her off, thinking that she was just a teenager with a very descriptive imagination, and they wouldn't think anything of it. However, she would clarify that this.
I'm saying, if a little kid came up to me and said, "Oh, the SpongeBob head was off," I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
That was currently haunting her. That'll do it. And willing to show them everything that had happened, she would do so if, in exchange, she was granted protection. So again, that just kind of coincides with she was just afraid that entire time that she was living in under Chan, which is, again, just so incredibly sad. And she would then begin to describe everything that happened, everything that we already spoke about. And completely shocked, the police would get up and immediately go run down to the flat, to which a Hello Kitty doll was sitting on the bed. And inside the Hello Kitty doll, the police would find a skull and a ton of rotting insects as well. And all that was left of Fan was a few teeth and a fridge with internal organs stuffed in it as well, and the skull that was retrieved from the doll. And the apartment and living conditions she was left in were trash was left all over the floor, and
disgusting.
Decrepit place. So the police would try to be swift with their arrests, knowing how serious this crime was and his connection to the triads. The arrest was an absolute must. And Chan was just living it up, absolutely clueless to the events that were about to transpire. He would be at his home with his wife.
What is weapons?
Oh my god.
What is this?
What be your
What are
names?
you talking about?
We're children.
Can I skip the ad now?
Scariest movie arrives.
Weapons. Rated R. Now playing.
If y'all got jump scared by that, I don't know.
Spending quality time with a newborn child. Just letting that sink in. And that is when a SWAT raid team would come in early morning on May 28th and rip his dumb fucking bitch ass out of there. And this arrest would be announced in the news and the paper, and Leong Wai-Loon fled to mainland China before he could be arrested.
Don't free him.
However, he would be later caught
He
by
needs the
police
same
on
treatment
the
done.
14th of February 2000, after irregularities in his passport were found. And he would then be sent back to Hong Kong for the 17th of February trial. And the Yongqing Cho was put on Interpol's most wanted list, so he was sent back to
why are
Hong
y'all
Kong
sending
as well,
pregnant
to bring justice
then
to Fan
emojis?
Mengyi
Are y'all
finally.
okay?
So on October 20th,
Chill,
2000,
chat, calm
the trial
down.
would finally begin. Ah Fong would testify in this trial in exchange for her immunity. And during this trial, Chan and his accomplices denied intending to kill Fan. Okay, stating that they were just meaning to rough her up. Tell you what, you come over to my place, I'll rough you up, all right? However, they did not deny the fact that they dismembered her body in such a
let me show
sadistic
you
way
a
and
rough
also
time.
hid remains. Make it make sense, you know? Chan
Not the
would be
good
one
kind. Let
to
me just
cut
HAIYA.
off Fan's head. They would later learn. And Ah Fong
A little
would
bit of
admit
these, a
more
little
to
bit of
help
salt.
the case. She stated that after they found
A little
her
bit of
deceased
pepper.
corpse, they would beat it before intending to dismember it. Why? For what? And the court was obviously fucking mortified, and the prosecutor describing it as one of the worst cases in Hong Kong's history. And the defendants' faces, while the crimes were stated, showed a complete lack of remorse, especially from Chan, who was just stone-faced the entire time, just punchable-faced the entire time. And apparently, during the trial, Leong Wai-Loon's sister experienced a mental breakdown, and his brother would smash and break a court door when the guilty verdict was called. And unfortunately, they were only charged with
Oh my lord,
manslaughter
guys.
and unlawful imprisonment.
What?
Make it make sense.
What?
So they were charged with life imprisonment, somehow
Right.
with the possibility of parole. And then
For
the men
what?
who were examined at Castle Peak
Wait,
Hospital
you're
and
telling me
Sunam
dude
Hospital
like
described
him
the trio of men as remorseless,
with the whole team,
even though the court
with
had
the whole
not learned
freaking
of the
thing,
case as depraved,
is able to
brutal,
go out on
and
parole?
vicious. And what's absolutely
Like, for what?
mind-boggling to me is that
For
Liang
what?
Cho was actually let out early in 2011 despite
For
being
free?
sentenced to life. And after his
Heck no. You're telling me 2011.
18 years, he was
Heck no.
completely freed. However, he was then charged again and put in jail in 2022 for indecently assaulting a 10-year-old girl for
What?
12 months. Don't let monsters out of jail, because monsters remain monsters. And the
Not
media was
real.
obviously shocked.
Not
to
you
say
guys,
the
not you
least,
guys. Y'all are
horrified that
monstars.
there were
There's a
people
difference.
So cruel in the world, let alone
There's a
in their
difference.
backyard. And they
Y'all
were
are
glad that
monsters,
the
and
vermin
he's
at
a
the time,
monster.
at least, were
Y'all
off
are
the streets
monsters.
and locked away from the public. And TVB reporters themselves
Like
even
what?
felt sick, describing the trial as crazy and scary. And many articles have been written about
Crazy and
this, but many
scary.
have been
Yeah.
lost in
No
time.
way.
However, two
Like,
movies
bro,
would be
10?
made about the case. One called
Yeah, monster
Human
stuck.
Pork Chop, which
Like, bro. What?
no words, basically, and another
Like,
called
I
There
I
Is a
have
Secret
literally no words. I
in
don't
My
get it.
Soup.
Like,
The titles alone are tone deaf and terrible, but I mean, this is from a different time, from a completely different place where I'm from, so I don't want to I don't have a lot to say about that. But if they're
I
anything
don't get
like
it.
what
Like,
actually
bro.
happened, I'm sure they're extremely horrifying and brutal. Even the
So
movie
scary,
art
like-
for the cover alone is pretty horrifying. But the aftermath of all of this finally let Fawn have her rest. Thank God. And the rest of her corpse was burned and cremated on March 26, 2000. And the apartment building now linked with this horrifying murder was eventually demolished in September of 2012 and has
Right.
since been rebuilt into a hotel named Soravit, I'm not sure, in 2016.
Okay.
And it's still heavily debated whether these people got what they deserved. I don't think they
I
did,
don't
but
think
no
they did.
doubt
Yeah,
if this
they
was
deserve
committed
way
today,
worse. They
there
deserve
would
to
have
be
been
fed to
a
the
lot
hyenas
more
with lava and
serious
them.
of a punishment, at
I don't
least
care what nobody say.
can hope. However, what we
They
can
need
all
they need
agree
to be
on
fed
is
to
that
the
this murder
crabs,
was
the sharks,
completely brutal.
the
And
rabbits,
all that's left
all
to
of them.
remember Fawn by is this
Like-
story and also a necklace that was found at the apartment where she died in that was actually given to her son after the fact. So at least he's able to have something from his mom. But man, this case broke
Yo.
me pretty good. Just
This
the
is like
brutality
really
and
insane. Like, how do they
inhuman
get away with this for no freaking reason? Like,
people
think about that, guys.
involved. I just, it's hard to wrap my head around. I mean, I know I talk about a lot of these cases and can remain, you know, somewhat stoic, but this one was hard to get through. Anyway,
This one
I
was
just
a
wanna say thank
mental
you for watching the video. If you have any
messy
other
wessy.
cases you want me to go over, let me know
Thank
down
you.
below. Anything
Thank you. Oh
from
my God,
crime,
you're so
conspiracy,
pretty. You're
cults,
so
serial killers,
pretty.
murder, whatever.
This is my wife right
paranormal,
here, guys.
Anything
This is my
down
wife.
below, I would love to read. The reason why I did this video is because so many of you
I love her.
suggested it. But yeah,
Love her.
until next time, I will see
I'm
you
in
beautiful
love.
face in the next video. All right, bye.
This is insanely.
Alright, guys. Alrighty. Well, that was that video. Yeah, okay. Like, comment, subscribe for that one. Guys, I don't know. That one was very interesting. I don't know. I feel like that was a very scary moment. Scary moment. Okay. We'll do Lacey next. Alright, guys, hold on. Guys, is it by Rotten Mango? Oh my. Alrighty, I found it. It's by I'm already subscribed to her. Well, subscribe to both of them. Bro.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Stephanie.
Lacey Fletcher could probably hear them packing for their New Year's trip. They're gonna celebrate ringing in 2022 by going out of town and leaving Lacey
That's my
to
other
rot
wife.
by herself. It's hard to
I have
say if
12,000
Lacey
wives.
felt relief in that moment.
Hold on, guys. I'll restart it. Okay, there we go. I'll shush.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Ba-bing,
Lacey Fletcher could probably hear them packing for their New Year's trip. They're going to celebrate ringing in 2022 by going out of town and leaving Lacey to rot
Is this
by
the right
herself.
one?
It's hard to say if Lacey
Lock in,
felt
guys.
relief in that moment knowing that they're going to be gone, or if she felt fear, because what if they don't leave her food? Would she
Right.
just starve to death? What if they didn't leave her water? You can go longer without food but not water, right? Just a few days. What if they don't even come back? What would happen to her then? All she could really do in that moment is sit in that chair and watch them leave. I mean, what other choice does she have? She's trapped, unable to leave her prison, unable to see the sun. Lacey can't walk outside. She can't talk to her friends anymore, go to school. She's not even able to walk into the kitchen to grab food whenever her stomach rumbles. We don't know if she even knew what day it was, or if she could hear the New Year's Eve fireworks. Would she work it out from the fireworks that it's 2022 now? Or would the loud noises just terrify her? We don't know any of this for certain. We just know that Lacey Fletcher was a prisoner of the couch. She had been left there, hungry, covered in feces, naked, unable to eat unless one of them decided to bring her food. Her body was dying while she was still alive. There were parts of her flesh that were rotting. There were maggots crawling in and out of her hair, in and out of her bones, munching down at her dead flesh, and she's still alive. If she looked down, there would have been certain parts of her body where she could see straight through her skin, her tissue, her muscle, and see her bones. There were giant holes all over the lower half of her body. She was completely covered in feces. There was feces in her stomach, inside her stomach, in her mouth, and even her ears. She had been trapped on this couch for the past 12 years of her life. By the time that she was found, she had melted through the couch into a hole and her skin was fusing with the brown leather. The only contents found in her stomach would be sofa cushion foam and feces. Did she eat it out of desperation? Was she fed it? We don't know. The worst part is, we're still unclear why any of this happened. There are theories that range from locked-in syndrome, where someone is fully conscious, but
it's so nasty. Ew. Heck no. You know that one TLC thing. They were like My Strange Addiction. I bet that one person would have loved the sofa cushions. Ew.
Unable to move their bodies, trapped inside their own minds. There are theories of full-blown torture, with Lacey being a victim for someone's sick, sadistic pleasure for over a decade. There are a lot of wild theories, but we have no definitive answers. All we know is Lacey Fletcher would die in one of the worst, slow, torturous deaths imaginable, and nobody helped her.
Oh my god. Rotten mango. The glass, the flowers, the crying. So majestic. So majestic.
As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. One of our wonderful researchers that worked on this case is autistic, and she was instrumental in the process of gathering data for this case. She's also provided us with links to autism resource pages that will be in the show notes. Now, with that being said, as with all cases, please let us know if you have any thoughts or any additional details about the case down in the comments. And with that, let's get started. There's a very rare condition out there. It's called locked-in syndrome. Less than 1,000 people in the United States have it at any given point. Most sufferers are victims of a stroke or a traumatic brain injury. And even though it's a very, very rare condition, it seems to be a big fear for a ton of people. I mean, maybe it's the nature of the condition. Maybe it's because of the natural human fear of not being able to communicate with one another.
Support. You better
It's
support. If I don't see any
and
of you
it's
guys supporting, I'm
exactly
calling
how
the
you
police.
picture it. Locked in syndrome. You're awake. Your mind is flowing. It's
Y'all
going a million
monsters,
miles an
y'all
hour.
better
If you're
go support
lucky,
your
you
little
can open your
gremlins.
eyes and look
You're
around.
supporting me, you should be
see what's
supporting
around
them.
you. But really only as much as you can move your pupils. That's it.
Yeah.
When you try to talk, nothing moves. You can't push out the words. It's like when you're in a dream and you're trying to scream for help, but no words come out and you start getting so flustered and frustrated with yourself, but you wake up and you realize that's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
This is locked in syndrome. You can't even move a single finger. You can't even swallow your own saliva. And soon drool is going to be seeping out of your mouth while doctors and loved ones look at you concerned, worried, because they don't know how this happened.
Real.
You're trying to give them a sign of, hey, I can see you. I can hear you. I'm here. But there's nothing that you can move. Your body is locked and you are locked in your brain. 90% of people die within the first 4 months that they're locked in. And a lot of doctors can figure out that they're locked in, but can't find a way to get them.
Here's how we created our pet step app for
Guys, I gotta get premium.
First, the brush.
I am
Now,
tired of
also for
this.
tweaking.
Out. One survivor of locked-in syndrome stated, my cognitive capabilities were 100%. I could think and hear and listen to people, but I couldn't speak or move. The doctors would just stand there at the foot of my hospital bed and talk like I'm not in the room, and I just wanted to scream like, hey, people, I'm still here. But there was no way for me to let them know. He remembered hearing the doctors tell his family in the room that he had a 2% chance of survival. And even if he did survive,
yeah,
he would be
so far,
comatose.
I've seen a lot of stupid people.
He remembers hearing the conversation and seeing his wife break down and
This is
beg the
freaking
doctors
crazy. We're currently
to not
reacting
turn
to,
off his life support machines. And he was just screaming,
the
no,
Lacey-
I'm right here.
the
Don't turn
Lacey's
it off.
case.
I'm right here.
It's
But
depressing,
nobody could hear him.
bro.
He couldn't move his lips. He couldn't move his mouth. Another survivor said, I could do nothing except listen, and I could only see the direct area in front of me based on how the nurses would position me in bed. So if they flipped me over to the
seems
left,
like everybody
I could
knew this
only
case.
see
I don't
that
even
point
know
of the
this
room.
case, bro.
He reported that
This
he
is
could
ridiculous.
feel every jolt and twinge of pain. He could even feel itchiness. You know, you have that itch in your back.
Itchy, no.
He said it was miserable. He's in constant pain,
I
but he's
hate
completely at the
that. I
mercy
hate
of his
that.
doctors for pain meds. And
Guys,
this is
imagine
a miserable way to live.
you're just
but
by
there's
yourself
no choice.
and
You
you
don't
have
have the
this.
choice of
I
exiting
cry.
your life or
I
telling
just
someone,
start
hey, I
crying.
can't do this. He said, I couldn't tell anyone if my mouth was dry, if I was hungry, if I had an itch that needed to be scratched. I felt disgusting all the time. I was constantly drenched in sweat. My skin was so sensitive to minor sensory changes, it felt like it was burning all the time. It felt like it was on fire. He was in constant pain. He was afraid of dying, and that's all he could
I
think
didn't
about
know
all
that
day.
happened.
But worse than that, he was afraid of being trapped inside of his body forever. All he could do was talk to himself. He said he had to create another voice to talk to himself. 2 voices. He could calm himself down. He would say things like, how are you doing, Jake? Not too bad, just waiting on my meds. It's coming soon. Don't freak out, Jake. You're gonna be okay. When Jake wasn't talking to himself, he was talking to the nurses. They just didn't know it. They would ask him, hey, Jake, can you hear us? And he would
Jake
be
from State Farm.
screaming at the top of his lungs.
Definitely.
I can hear you. I'm right here. But nobody could hear him. And the highlights of his day was when nurses would come in and talk to him, even though they had no clue that he was, quote, in there. The ones who sang to him were his favorite. While they would flip him over, they would sing to him. But most of the days, he would just lay there in a completely empty room, unable to move. Sometimes his family and loved ones would come over into the hospital room and they would just scream at each other about what they were going to do with him, fighting about him as if he's not right there listening to all of this.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And there's no way of these people. There's no medical equipment that can detect that.
Yeah, that's
think
scary.
Right now, eye fluttering is the quickest way that doctors will detect it. It still takes about a few days for them to even find out that you're locked in. Yeah, so most of these people, these survivors, they said it took multiple days for the doctors to be like, oh my gosh, I think he's blinking. Like, please blink twice if you can understand what I'm saying right now. I mean, I can only imagine there must be so many who couldn't
That scared the
control
heck
their
out
eye
of me.
movements
I would have
either.
thought they were dead by
So
now.
we don't
I'm
know
like,
just
oh,
how many
well,
of
time to
people
put him
have
in the
passed while they've
morgue.
been locked
And then
in.
he
We're
blinks
not
and I'm like,
sure.
oh my god.
And once they're
I'm
locked
alive.
in, they remember everything. These
Allah,
survivors,
Allah.
they remember everything in detail, and they were corroborating it with the nurses and doctors. So it's not just like hallucinations that
This
they
is
had.
scary,
These are real
guys.
events.
Like,
They're completely conscious. There is a device right now, I think, that they're working on where it can try to communicate with you through your brain.
See,
Listen,
that's what I was thinking. Like,
yeah.
there's so many like brain scans. They can check like what area is moving and stuff.
I imagine it's very expensive.
Right.
There was a man in France who wrote a whole book just by blinking one eye to someone who was transcribing it. And then he passed almost immediately after it was published. Jake said other times he was so bored, he would just count to 1,000 and then start all over again. 1 to 1,000. It was absolute hell. He felt like he was being tortured.
Oh my Lord.
He always wanted to know, what time is it? What day is it? How long has it been? But he can't even ask anyone. And then there's just so many depressing thoughts in his mind. There were days where all he thought about the entire day was his own funeral. Who's going to show up? What it's going to look like? Who's going to say what?
Oh
For
my
Marsh,
Lord.
the other
I
survivor,
would think
he said
that
he was
too if
really
I was in
lucky.
that.
His
Like,
wife and
bro.
children were there all day, but even that was just lonely. He said, during the day, I was lucky. I never spent a single day when my wife and one of my kids wasn't there. But once they left, it's lonely, not in the way of missing people, but loneliness of knowing there's no one who really understands how to even communicate.
Guess which student has a better chance of getting into an Ivy League school? First, take a look at Zach. He's valedictorian, National Merit Scholar, and he's president of the debate team.
Guys, Joe was just joking.
Marsh and Jake were two of the lucky ones. There were rumors last year in 2020 that a woman,
No,
a
it's
young woman
completely
in
okay.
Louisiana was not as lucky.
Guys,
that she had been
Joe was
locked
just
in
joking.
her own brain for the past 12 years, and all she could do was sit on the couch and stare at the wall
Oh my
until she
Lord.
passed. So in 2022, this story goes crazy. It's a horrifying story that's coming out, but it was made even more terrifying by the fact that that woman probably didn't even have locked-in syndrome. So what does that mean? Why
Yeah,
would
what does that
someone
mean?
sit there on the couch for 12 years? She's
By-
able-bodied. Why
yeah.
didn't she get up?
Oh, so she's not chained
No.
or trapped.
We don't know. So that means if she's not locked in, there is something worse, more sinister, that made her unable to move from the couch for the past 12 years of her life. Slaughter, Louisiana has a population of less than 1,000 people, but it does have a very interesting name. They were briefly part of a small internet discourse because of their unfortunate police department name, the Slaughter Police. Yeah, so not great from a marketing standpoint. And there was this question of, why the hell is there a town named Slaughter anyway? There were some rumors that the area had some of the first slaughterhouses in Louisiana, or that something very ominous happened there, giving it the name Slaughter, Louisiana. But it's
Yeah.
actually just named after the original owners of the land, Mr. Will and Joe Slaughter. But it's a very, very, very small town. Less than 1,000 people, about 800 people. And it's the type of place where you don't have to leave the town for anything. There are schools, 2 churches, pharmacy, food marts, small businesses that sell farming goods, a rehab facility, short and long-term care for the elderly. And even though it's the definition of rural, the houses are super spread out so you can have as much privacy as your heart desires. Slaughter has that small town comfort. Where you're like, okay, my dog is missing. Guess what? Likely all 800 residents are going to come out and help you search for your dog until they're back home. It's just one of those towns. I mean, they even have like a small government with residents voted in as what they call aldermen. And these aldermen will
that's
help
kinda
vote
cute,
on
though.
issues
That's kinda
affecting the
cute.
community.
A nice little,
so the aldermen,
you
they're
know.
supposed to be approachable figures of community that you can turn to for literally anything. Like if you have a disabled family member and you think there needs to be better accessibility at some part of the town, you go to the alderman. If you think your job that has nothing to do with the government requires better sexual harassment policies, like you work at a fast food chain, you're like, you go to the alderman. Even if you have a deeply personal issue where maybe you have an anxious relative who won't leave the house and is becoming reclusive and
sounds
is not
not
socializing
too
with
bad,
anyone,
though.
you
You
go
can
to the
literally-
alderman. They literally went to the alderman for anything. Sheila was probably the best alderman to go to.
Oh my
She was also
gosh,
the
she looks
vice
so
mayor of the
friendly.
town. Literally was voted into that
I love her.
position. So if the
I'm
mayor
in
couldn't
love.
attend a meeting, Sheila would show up in place of the mayor. Her husband Clay was also well known.
That
in
was
the
me.
community.
I'm the
He works for a
husband.
nonprofit
Forget-
called the
forget
Baton
him.
Rouge Civil War
Moving all
Roundtable.
in my way.
They would organize events and field
Oh, no,
trips
I'm
to
dropping
historic sites
things.
to, quote, provide nonpartisan atmosphere to foster learning and respect for our Civil War heritage. It's a lot. You know, there's a lot of red flags, and some of the members joining the official Facebook group would post, quote, non-judgmental pictures of the KKK and make racist jokes about the Obamas. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like Clay was the one personally posting those or endorsing that kind of
Interesting.
activity, but just to give you preface. Now, Clay and Sheila, they're the go-tos for the community. Anyone's got a problem, you go to Clay or you go to Sheila. They're churchgoers. They've got the mindset of wanting to help others. They would probably help you first with your oxygen mask on a plane before putting their own on.
Go outside of her
Always
body.
asking, how's your day? How's your sick grandma? Well, if your grandma needs anything, just give us a ring. We're right down the street. But who asks how Sheila and Clay are? Robert Blade Sr. asked. He lives across the street from them, and he remembered the couple having a young daughter, and he hadn't seen her in like, geez, God knows how long, right? Over a decade for sure, maybe like 15 years ago. Last he saw of her, she was exercising down the street, running around with some dumbbells in her arms. I mean, she did that a lot, and then she stopped one day. He just kind of assumed, like all the other kids in the neighborhood, though, she got into college, moved into the city, met a boy, got married, started a new life, and then never found the time to visit small old town Slaughter ever again, right? Or maybe she did, and he always missed her.
I don't know. She just looked like a young woman. She was, she had these little, what do you call the little weights that you hold in your hand? The little dumbbells.
She was exercising.
Yes, she'd walk from her house around the circle, and she used to do that, you know, I don't know, 2 or 3 times.
Y'all be nice in the chat.
So one day, this daughter would have been about 30 years old at this point. Robert was on his front lawn talking to Clay about, you know, things going on in the neighborhood. And he thought to ask, oh yeah, Clay, how's Lacey? How's she doing? What's she up to now? Moved away? Oh, no, she's still here. She still lives here. She's fine. Clay quickly changed the subject. At that moment, it was very likely that Lacey was unable to walk, fused to the couch, trapped. And death has a smell. When the body starts to break down and decompose, there are over 800 chemicals that react with the air and with each other, and it creates a very distinct scent. And we always hear about it in cases. The investigators could smell death, that it's a scent that once you smell it, you can never forget it.
True,
and to a degree, I feel like
if it smells stinky, it's most likely dead.
What it's like. I'm sure it's not a pleasant scent, but people actually say it's more than that. It's really distinct.
Guys,
it's not just the worst scent that you've ever experienced. There's so much more to it. Death has a sickly sweet scent. So underneath the smell of fecal matter, waste, decay, like you would imagine a piece of raw steak left outside in hot, humid cabin air would smell like after 3 months in the summer. It's like that, but underneath it,
I know I
there
don't
are
have many
almost
YouTube
these
features,
sweet
but
notes.
don't worry, I will add one if I have
Everyone describes
to.
it differently. I went down a lot of forums with a lot of coroners and crime scene investigators, crime scene cleanup crews. Some describe it as a thick, it's almost like it hangs in the air, like this thick honey scent underlying this rotten meat, garlicky fecal matter scent. It's like honey, but you want to throw up. Others say no, it's almost a little floral. Like, you know, when you are around flowers that have a very unique scent and you almost want to gag? Kind of like that. Some say, actually, it's that almondiness.
What?
That sweet, almost kind of nuttiness. And then there's that overpowering, fishy, even sour scent that overtakes it all. One Redditor,
He's
an
mentioning
EMT,
this and I'm thinking,
describes it as, smells like if you left
Cheerios.
cheese out in the hot sun for a week and then you put it into a
I'm just
stale
like,
sweet
Cheerios
tea,
don't sound
iced
bad.
tea mix. And then you just let it sit in that
Iced
mix.
tea?
Hot.
Ew.
Ice sweet tea mix for another week. And then you smell it. It's actually even thought that humans and other animals evolved disgust for the scent. So the main underlying scent is called putrescine, and it's a chemical compound associated with decomposing bodies. And apparently humans evolved into being so literally primitively disgusted by it because it protects us from disease and predation from scavengers. Studies go even further to suggest that it triggers a fight or flight response in humans. Just the smell of a dead body. Even if you don't know it's the smell of a dead body, you smell it way out in the woods, you have a fight or flight response. That's what some people believe. And there is a company out there that just recreates the scent of human death.
I'm watching a
That's
TV
their
show.
whole business model. The scent of human remains, and they sell a formulated version of it. And to put it simply, they bottle up the scent of human death and sell it. The website describes it as, quote, represents odor of 2 140-pound cadavers for the low, low cost of $850. And it's not for any weird, sinister reason. Well, hopefully that's not why most people are buying it. It's mainly used by cadaver dog trainers so that they don't have to use real human remains to train cadaver dogs to find dead bodies. But there's actually a lot of cadaver dog trainers that don't like to use these scents. They'd rather go to a body farm and purchase body parts because they argue it's just not the same.
The heck? Like what?
You try to replicate it with the chemicals that is created from decomposing bodies, but it's so difficult to replicate the smell of death precisely. It is such a unique scent. I mean, there's so many varying factors. The scent depends on the person that died, the surrounding conditions. Is there wildlife where the body is? The temperature, the humidity. They said humidity is the worst on a dead body. And Slaughter, Louisiana was a humid, hot town. I'm not sure how much Dr. Brickham knew when he drove up to the little White House on January 3rd, 2022. I wonder if the neighbor's Christmas trees and all the New Year's decorations were still up, making the drive feel, I don't know, even more eerie, right? But once he parked that car, he gets out, he walks past the well-manicured green lawn, he opens up the front door, and it's like he's hit with this invisible
What's he gonna do?
field.
What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
It's a smell. He couldn't breathe, he said. He said there was a stench, an odor, feces, fecal matter, urine. You couldn't hold your breath. Dr. Brickham had smelled death before, but this smell, it's literally embedded into the fabric of the house. That's how thick and pungent it is. It felt like the scent was going to follow him home and linger for weeks. Dr. Brickham enters the living room, and you know when you spot something that just feels out of place, it makes you feel very unsettled.
Like, what the heck?
You can't quite put your finger on it, but it just feels
I
weird.
think
Imagine it's
what is
snowing
gonna
outside,
happen
and there's
is
someone standing there out in the snow,
I don't know
staring
anymore,
at your
guys.
house
I'm
with nothing but their
confused.
swimwear on. And you're just looking out the window like, I feel like this is odd. Like, yes, I'm worried that they're going to get sick, but there feels like there needs to be a sinister explanation for this because it's just that out of place. Dr. Brickham walks into the living room. Most of the living room is pretty tidy, a little clutter like any normal house, but all over it was pretty well organized. I mean, it's pretty evident that someone in this house is maintaining the living areas, making sure that they're always well kept, cleaning up, organizing everything except the couch in the center of the living room. The dark brown leather couch was the source of this smell, and Dr. Brickham had been hit with it when he walked into that house, and he could almost see steam emanating from it. The couch looked like it was melting. The couch was soaked with
That's probably
urine
some of
and
y'all beds right
feces,
now.
human excrement. The waste
y'all
was
beds look
seeping
like.
through the couch bottom onto the floor where it looked
Your
like
bed
any
look like
second
that.
the floor.
Go
Nobody
make your
cleaned the
bed.
floor underneath the couch. It looked like the floor was going to crumble in on itself from the gathering of all the liquid and feces. There was an 18-inch gap between the couch and the wall. The wall looked moist. Like it looked like there would be condensation droplets
Guys,
on
y'all
the
like
wall
that? You like
from
that weird
steam, from
moist?
liquid.
I don't know.
And
It
the
sounds
couch just
weird.
looks so out of place. I mean, you wouldn't
The
even
bed
expect to
looks
see this type of couch
crumpled.
in an abandoned home.
And not in a
It
good
looks
way.
like a regular, normal living room, and then they just have this couch that everyone in the family and visitors go and pee and poop on, and then nobody cleans it
Ew.
up. That's what it looks like, and it's just melting. It's like a
Ew.
weird time capsule. Just the couch is rotting. It's bizarre. And this is the living room of a couple that's pretty well respected in the community. In a house where the rest of the place is extremely well kept and there are signs of life, and this is the couch that's in the center of the living room. But as Dr. Brickham got closer, he found who he had come here for. Lacey Fletcher was laying in the living room couch. She's not laying on the couch, she's laying in the couch. There is a huge person-sized hole in the leather couch, almost to the floor. I would imagine it, and there are pictures. Just imagine your dog gnawed through all of the sofa cushion fluff, and there's just a hole in the couch. She's literally in the couch. She's slumped to
That's what
one
I'm
side,
thinking,
sitting
literally just-
cross-legged.
Yeah, I want
Her
some of the
eyes are
couch
wide
cushion,
open.
please.
Her mouth is wide open. She's completely nude, except a small blue pattern top that's pulled
Man, I
over
need to
her
be to her
chest.
model so
So her
bad.
chest is bare. Dr. Brickham could see her bones. Not because she was that emaciated, which she was very malnourished, but parts of her body had been rotten and eaten by maggots while she was alive. Just think of the mental trauma for someone who would be alert and aware if they were to look down and see their own flesh being eaten by maggots. There were maggots crawling in and around her hair, all over her body. She was covered head to toe in feces. It was found in her mouth, in her stomach, in her ears. She had been eating it, or she had been fed it. We don't know. The sofa arms were covered in scratches. This is not a situation where Laci's body was left on the couch to decompose after her death, and the feces and urine, it came out during the decomposition process. This is not that situation. Laci was kept alive on that couch for 12 years. She had been alive for 12 years, not able to get up to even use the restroom. She had been soiling herself and then either eating or being fed her own feces while being
she's
trapped
not crippled,
on
but
this
she
couch
is, but she's
for
not.
12 years.
That doesn't make any sense.
Her flesh had been rotting while she was
Like,
alive.
she was able to
Maggots
get
were
up, but
eating
she
away
chose
at her
not to,
while
guys.
she was alive, and she had just
Mental
recently passed
issues.
away.
I feel
And the
bad.
two people who lived with her, her parents, the ones who walked past that couch every single day,
Depressing. That is so
walked past
depressing.
its head
Like,
into the
what?
kitchen, to the garage, to the backyard, Sheila and Clay Fletcher, they were now standing in the kitchen with no explanation on what the hell had happened.
Without the ones like
What you
you
mean?
working
With no
tirelessly to keep things
explanation?
running, everything
I
would
bet,
suddenly
but
stop.
I bet from day one
No
they
matter
had this
your
plan.
industry,
They're
Granger's
like, I
here
know
for
what to
you
do.
with professional grade supplies.
Like what?
Call, click Grainger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Like what?
When I first walked in the house, it smelled of
It was them.
feces, fecal
It was
material,
them.
however you want to put that politely. It stunk. When I got to the body, the individual was basically sitting in a
Case
hole
closed.
filled with liquid stool and urine. I was able to place her body in a black body bag, and I took it down to Jefferson Parish for autopsy. It's the worst form of medical neglect I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know any other adjectives or adverbs to add to that.
Laci was pronounced dead at 3:07 p.m. on January 3rd, 2022, but it's
think she
likely
was
that
dead
she
before
passed
that.
away at least 24 to 48 hours prior.
She was dead
She
before
could have
that.
passed away New Year's Day, 2022.
She could have passed away
The world around
3
her would have been
years
celebrating
later.
the start of a new year, something fresh, and Laci would have been laying dying in her own excrement. Sheila Fletcher got a little bit more talkative at the police station. And side note, this isn't even immediately after authorities took Laci's body away. Sheila was interviewed January 18th. Laci's body was found January 3rd.
So the police didn't do anything until 18th.
They really did not treat the parents like persons of interest or even suspects.
So they,
That's
I mean,
scary.
it's a small town, right? So they all know each other. And
Now, Sheila tells authorities January 18th
Wait,
that
so
Laci
they're
had
telling
social
me-
anxiety and had met with a psychologist
Oh,
over
okay.
a period of 3 years when she was back a teenager. Laci
That
was
makes more
36 when
sense.
she passed. So you're talking about like decades ago. Eventually, she stopped seeing her doctor decades ago. Sheila and Clay contemplated getting Laci committed into a specialist medical facility, but for whatever reason, that never happened. In the interview with the police, Sheila insisted that Laci refused to leave the couch. It was a personal choice that she made. So she and Clay, they did their best to accommodate her on her wishes. Like they set up a toilet for her, like one of those portable toilets that you see at hospitals. They put it right next to the couch with some baby wipes, baby powder, a fresh change of clothes, a stack of Laci's favorite movies to watch. They were all there. All Laci had to do was get up. But she didn't ever want to leave the couch, ever. That's what they said. Maybe it's laziness. So they gave Laci a towel on the couch to use as a toilet. Sheila stated that she would have to take the towels from Laci, the ones covered in feces, clean them, and then bring her new towels. I mean, it was a whole thing. Sheila also stated that she would have to clean Laci's body and bed sores, and not once did Laci ever complain about pain, which, I don't know, is just really unbelievable. And even if someone doesn't complain about pain, if you can see
Interesting.
someone's bone, Sheila stated that Laci had lost her appetite last autumn, so back in 2021. But when the Fletchers, because they went on a New Year's trip, when they got back from their trip from New Year's on January 2nd, the day before Laci died, Sheila said that she made her half a sandwich and gave her a bag of Cheetos. She stated
What?
Laci ate it. Then, according to Sheila, the mom, Sheila went to sleep on the chair on the living room
Wait.
next to Laci's couch, near Laci, near the rotting hole in the sofa. And at around 10 p.m., when Sheila fell asleep for the night, Laci was still alive. When she woke up the next morning, Laci was dead. That's what Sheila
Huh?
Fletcher said. But Sheila
The math
Fletcher is a
isn't mathing.
liar, in my personal humble opinion. Sheila stated, January 2nd, 2022, Lacey ate half a sandwich and a bag of Cheetos. This is not what would be found in Lacey's stomach during the autopsy. All they could find in her stomach was sofa foam and feces. No sandwich, no Cheetos. And if Lacey had been sitting there on that couch for 12 years, that means this hell would have begun around 2010. And she would have almost certainly been in pain since day one.
They said that? She's been sitting there for 12 years?
They said that
Guys,
it's
this doesn't
been
make any
years.
sense.
They didn't give an exact estimate, but the coroner said about 12 years.
Wow.
Now, skin exposure to urine and feces is painful and can start stinging within hours. It happens more frequently with infants. It's actually called a diaper rash, and it can get very serious, if not even kill infants. And it's not even done purposely most of the times that babies have diaper rashes. It's not abuse. It's typically just because they're very sensitive. Now, the main symptoms are red rashes on the buttocks.
The Pampers
if left
and the
unaddressed for
Huggies.
too long, it can quickly escalate into a full body
And
fever,
they have like
full
diaper
body
rash gel
chills,
for them.
and a full body
And
rash.
baby powder.
Urine and feces
And baby
contain
oil and all
ammonia.
that stuff.
Now, ammonia is very
No diddy.
corrosive. If your skin is
Allegedly.
in contact with ammonia for long periods of time, it can cause irritation and even burns. That could have happened within the first few hours of the first day that Lacey had soiled herself on that couch. Now, if a diaper rash is left untreated, the skin starts to swell. It can transform into these rashes that have these white bumps all over that ooze clear fluid. And then the skin starts to peel, causing these open sores. It's very painful. And if there's still urine or feces that's there to make contact with those open sores, you're at a dangerous risk of infections. Yeast infections might be one. Yeast dermatitis could be another thing. Those are dark red areas of the skin, usually filled with these raised yellow fluid-filled pustules. This is likely all happening near the private regions because she was found sitting cross-legged. So she's genuinely sitting in a pile of her urine and feces, which makes everything much more sensitive and painful because these are your private parts. Side note, if Lacey still had her menstrual cycle at the beginning of all of this, she may not have due to malnutrition or other reasons, but if she did, that means there would have also been blood rotting into the sofa, and blood attracts flies. Flies would have been attracted to Lacey and her wounds that were all primarily, again, in her down regions. Also, infections for the private regions are incredibly painful, and that is just the beginning.
Oh no.
This is still when everything is treatable fairly easily. Painful, but not like life-threatening, typically. Even without urine and
This is
feces, the high
scary.
risk of painful
Ugh.
infections just sitting or laying in one place is horrendous for the body. Bed sores. Have you heard of bed sores? They're going to be one of the first things to show up. Bed sores occur when there is continuous pressure on parts of the body, usually by sitting or laying in a single position for an extended period of time. So you're cutting off blood supply to that specific area, which causes the surrounding tissue to start dying. Within 2 hours, the tissue starts dying. Humans are very sensitive because that tissue is not getting enough oxygen because blood has oxygen in it and you're not getting blood flowing there, and it can happen in 2 to 3
Allegedly.
hours. So you're like, okay, well, why don't I get bed sores when I'm falling asleep? We're constantly moving. Even shuffling like this is moving. So if you're sitting on a chair for 8 hours studying, if you're moving a little bit, it's hard to get bed sores. This stops it from developing. But if you're unable to move around, a bed sore is going to happen because there's a lack of oxygen. Like, it's not preventable. The skin will die and the bed sore will just look like a red blotch on the skin. So it starts looking like a sunburn, and it feels a little hot to the touch, kind of like a sunburn, warm. It might
That's
even be a
scary.
little itchy, very similar to a
Like,
sunburn, but
really
eventually
scary.
it turns purple. And by that point, if left untreated, the skin will break open. And you're just going to have this painful wound that becomes easily infected, and then it collapses on itself. It's like a crater-sized blister. Some bed sores, I saw pictures on Reddit. I honestly don't know. I should not have gone down that route.
Girl,
There's like
why'd you go on
dinner
there?
plate-sized bed sores.
Reddit
and you
of
can
all
see
places?
all the way to the
Yeah,
bone.
she's asking for sad things on her history. I bet her FBI agent is like, bro, what is she looking at?
And it's not just skin deep. That's the problem. These bed sores collapse and they go deeper and deeper until you literally have Swiss cheese-like holes on your body. They reach into the muscle all the way to the bone. If you see a really bad picture of a bed sore, you can see muscle, tendons, bones, joints,
Heck no,
just
I'm
in a
good.
hole in someone's body. It's like an exposed tunnel for people to see inside of you. Once a
No.
bed sore develops, you have to treat it and dress it every single day, multiple times a day. It is absolutely horrendous for the patient and the caretaker. And bed sores are very, very, very slow to heal. With bed sores, genuinely, prevention is the only key. All you can do is move around. So that's why when you have bedbound patients, one of the first things that caretakers or nurses learn is you have to flip the patient every 2 hours. There's no question about it. And that's why when you go to nursing homes and maybe your grandparents have a bed sore, it's taken so seriously because when you hear the word bed sore, you're like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. But it's a very clear indicator that there could be abuse happening. Some really bad bed sores take days, months, even years to heal. Some may never heal. They may need surgery. And when it's super serious, bed sores can lead to death. Once they get infected, it leads to sepsis and death. Bed sores cause the death of more than 24,000 people each year. And again, the saddest part is most of the time, bed sores are completely preventable. I feel like it's very safe to assume that Lacey went through all of that and more. By the time that her body was found, the flesh on Lacey's bottom had been worn away and eaten. It was gone.
This is
Like
scary,
she had
nasty, disgusting.
no thighs, no butt. Her
No
back and
thighs,
butt
no
area, it was
butt.
impossible to tell what part was a human being. Her skin and flesh were so rotten and half eaten by maggots. There were other areas that maybe looked a
Like,
little
did
bit more
somebody,
like
like,
human
punch
skin, but it was
her really
completely
hard and she
yellow,
just
which
stopped
is typically a
moving
sign of
or something?
infected skin. Lacey had bed
Like,
sores that
there's no
went all the
way.
way down to her bones. Her skin was rotting away from constantly sitting in a mess of feces and acidic urine. She had a severe case of gangrene, which is when your flesh is dead. So the tissue changes from red to black, and then you're left with dead tissue, which is very dangerous because, again, you're at risk of infection, which can kill you. The only tiny bit of relief in all of this is hopefully with her injuries being that deep into her skin, hopefully it destroyed her nerve endings.
What?
There's a chance that it might not have, but there is a chance that it did. So maybe she had lost feeling in some of these parts of her body, around the injury sites. We don't know for sure, but we can only hope that she didn't feel what was slowly happening to her body for 12 long, agonizing, painful years. And it wasn't just the lower part of her body. Her entire backside was a mess of raw, rotten flesh. She was completely covered in raw red blotches, and Lacey's wounds were being cleaned. Not by her parents, but by maggots. Maggots were crawling in and out of her, consuming her dead flesh. And for this case, the maggots did more to help Lacey than her own parents. Like, I know usually we talk about maggots and it's not in a positive light, but maggots have a very important role in this world. So they eat dead flesh. In medical history, and sometimes even today, maggots have been used as a way of helping clean wounds. So maggots, usually they leave healthy flesh alone and just feed off of dead flesh, which needs to be cut away anyway because you're at risk of infection. And in Lacey's case, it seems to have worked to the point that she did not die of sepsis and infection for the first 12 years. The maggots kept her alive by eating the dead flesh on her wounds, while her parents did nothing for her, in my opinion. We know that Lacey was left with no real food or water in reach, and Lacey, on some level, was aware enough to know that she needed to eat. Her body seems to have grasped for anything that she could get, and the sofa foam was the only thing in reach. That and feces. Because that was what was found in her stomach. Not half of a sandwich or Cheetos. That's just the physical trauma of her body. We don't know to what extent and how bad the emotional and mental trauma was for 12 years. We don't know if this is even the full extent of her physical trauma. Technically, there could have been...
Hold on real quick, guys. Sorry, my roommate left the door open. If you guys heard, I said my roommate literally left the door open. I don't know what was going through his mind. Anyways, let's continue.
Things that happened to her years ago that wouldn't be present during the autopsy now. Dr. Bickham's official report stated Lacey died of sepsis as a result of severe medical neglect, which led to chronic malnutrition, acute starvation.
that.
Lacey only weighed 96 pounds at 36 years old. immobility,
96
acute ulcer formation, bone
96
infection, which
pounds?
ultimately led to
Maybe if you're
sepsis
like 4.
and death.
Or
And one
I
last
don't
thing
even know
about
if you're
Lacey's
supposed to weigh
autopsy.
that much when you're 4
Sheila
years old.
Fletcher stated she never took Lacey to the doctor because
Maybe
Lacey had
100
never
and
been
something.
sick. Which, like, let's not even unpack how ridiculous that statement is. Like, we don't even need to go there.
Skinny
But that
queen.
alone seems to be another lie, or at least a very misguided statement, because Lacey had COVID when she died. Most of Clay and Sheila Fletcher's friends did not even know that they had a daughter. But there were people that
What?
remembered Lacey, the ones who went to school with her in Slaughter, Louisiana, or the ones that saw her running around the neighborhood when she was younger.
Yeah.
They all just assumed that she had grown up, moved out of Slaughter, maybe settled down nearby in Baton Rouge, got married.
No, real.
Hey, this is Brett.
I would assume that
Capturing a
too.
true story for a documentary.
The ones that knew that the Fletchers had a daughter, they remembered Lacey as being a very friendly kid. She was fun to be around. She had a lot of different interests. She was, you know, like a lot of people, obsessed with Disney. She loved anything Disney World, Disneyland, Disney movies, characters. That's her happy place. She
Yeah.
would send friends links to videos of Disney. Also, Mariah Carey and country music. Very interesting mix. But she was someone that just had a very wide range of interests. She's very active. She loved bowling, volleyball. Those were her favorite activities.
Aw.
And everybody's favorite
This
word
is
to describe Lacey was
sad.
just sweet, like as sweet as can be.
I bet she
never
was.
acted out. She didn't seem
Right.
like she was creating trouble or, you know, when you have younger kids, there can be certain things that they do or say, or maybe they're acting out that might indicate that something darker is happening within. Maybe it's
Yeah.
happening at the house. There's just these little indications,
Depressing.
right? Lacey
Like,
didn't have any
how
of
dare
that.
they?
She was a happy-go-lucky kid that liked to have fun.
W.
Now, side note, Lacey was diagnosed as autistic when she was younger. And
It
just to give you a bit
happens.
of context, autism is a neurological condition. It is not an illness, and it's a
Yeah,
lot more common
it's
than
not an
people
illness.
think. Around 1
Exactly.
in 36 children were diagnosed as autistic in 2023, and it generally affects the way that people communicate for a few reasons. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just a different way of communicating.
Yeah,
Many
it
autistic
is.
people report feeling
very
their
different
senses
way.
a bit more. So what seems like
Actually,
a quiet room
guys,
for some people.
there's a lot of people who are autistic and you may not know it. You just be kind to people no matter who they are. And even if they do have autism and they end up part of a true crime, hey, people think differently and things happen and the world goes on. And even if they don't have it and they end up in a true crime, things go on and people think differently. Yeah. It's like you could literally be in a room full of people and people will be like, oh, this person is autistic. Be very kind to them. Give them grace. And they'd be like, okay, you need to do. And, you know, sometimes people think very differently and you have to just give them very benefit of a doubt and give them kindness regardless who they are. Yeah. So yeah.
People can actually be sensory overload for an autistic person.
Doesn't give you excuse to do
Some
bad
autistic
things though.
people report having excellent memory for facts
Yeah.
and very strong problem-solving logical minds, but they might struggle with social cues or small talk. Or some autistic people have reported finding it difficult to read facial expressions and eye contact.
Right.
There has been a lot of stigma and prejudice attached to autism for a very long time, and I think there still is today. But I think being able to see the world in slightly different ways is a great thing. Different
Yeah.
world perception is not
Agreed.
necessarily better
Literally
or worse.
what I
It's just different.
Yeah,
and I think we
literally what
need
I just
different
said. People are
perceptions.
different.
There's a common saying in the autistic community.
She took my
if you've
words.
met
How
one
dare she?
autistic person, then you've met
dare you
one
copy me?
autistic person. Because it's not really something where you can generalize and say, oh, if you have autism, then you feel A, B, C, and D. It's such a wide spectrum that people can be very different from one another with very different needs and different ways of communicating. So keep that in mind. Because Lacey's parents would often tell people, yeah, Lacey's just super quiet and withdrawn and she doesn't like socializing. But her friends at school were so confused. They're like, are we talking about the same girl right now? Are we talking about the same Lacey? I mean, sure, I guess she's kind of quiet compared to like the class clown, but she would go out of her way to welcome people and try to build connections. I mean, she's very opinionated and very passionate about a lot of things. She loved new experiences and she loved a change in her routine. So I don't know what the parents are saying. To a lot of Lacey's childhood friends, it felt like her parents didn't even know who she was. And side note, her parents were allegedly wishy-washy with her diagnosis. Sometimes they would state that Lacey had Asperger's syndrome, which is no longer used as a diagnosis anymore, by the way. Sometimes they would describe her autism as, quote, mild. Other times they would describe it as, quote, severe, which, side note, from what I've been told, the better verbiage to describe autism is high or low support needs. But these are allegedly the verbiage that Lacey's parents used. So this is not me describing Lacey. Lacey's doctor, Dr. Bickham, the one that went to Lacey Fletcher's home to find her, was her primary care physician when she was younger.
Oh.
Wow.
He was friendly with the Fletchers. Like, he knew the Fletchers. He was their doctor. He's also the town coroner. Small town. Yeah. Dr. Bickham would even describe her diagnosis as, quote, severe autism and social anxiety. But again, this just doesn't really match the way that Lacey's friends describe her, so it's confusing. And just to clarify, Lacey did have unique interests, but it doesn't seem to have anything to do with autism, like just flat out. So one of Lacey's old classmates would say, yeah, I saw her around 15 years ago, and she was definitely different from other kids her age. I mean, I knew that she wasn't your typical teenager. This is all a direct quote. She was smart. She was smart as hell. But I guess the best way to describe her was, she wasn't as mature as us. She still liked childish things, like not teenage things. When she was 17 or 18, she was more into Disney movies and country music.
It's never been easier to start a podcast than with Riverside. Here's how it works. First, go to Riverside.
Which again, I don't know how that's very different. She would invite us over to watch Disney movies despite being more withdrawn, but it's just not my forte. Again,
me personally,
she just had her own
I
interests.
love the little
would
Mickey Mouse
hardly
in
call
them.
that strange or a reflection of her diagnosis.
All right, Carrie too.
So a lot of Lacey's
I'm on her
friends,
side.
they're shocked when at 16 years old, Lacey gets pulled out of public school at the end of 9th grade, and she started to get homeschooled. Her parents stated that she had to be pulled out of school immediately, but it's so unclear, like, why? Side note, back then, homeschooling was not very common. And the Fletchers, they never gave examples of why, at least not yet, of what made them think, you know, this is it. We need to pull her out of school for her own good. We need to make sure that her sports, her friends, her socialization, we need to cut it off. All they said was that Lacey's autism got worse. Which is strange, because autistic people can struggle in a rigid...
You think you can be socialized? No. I say no. You don't socialize. That's literally... You socialize? I shall not.
School environment, and they may need to be homeschooled either permanently or for a short period of time.
Right.
But usually it's very important that there's a support network in place, because literally every human on this earth needs a support group to help manage stress and keep up with interpersonal relationships so that they don't get isolated. But they just cut off all of Lacey's friends. Even if a kid is homeschooled,
That's the thing.
it is
You
in
cut
the
me from
parents'
my
best
friends. I'm
interest
cutting
to
you
let
from
them
your whole
keep
life.
their already
Goodbye.
established friendships.
Literally,
But allegedly,
like,
none of that
what
happened.
are you gonna do with those
Allegedly,
friends?
once
How are you
Lacey
gonna
started getting
live?
homeschooled, she was seen outside less and less. In fact, it just seemed like the couple stopped bringing Lacey up in conversations.
cried,
Even.
like, what a-
The last time someone distinctly, or at least reports remembering Lacey being brought up in conversations, was in 2010. Lacey would have been 23 at the time. The Fletchers walked into Dr. Bickham's office without Lacey and stated, "Our daughter Lacey is becoming reclusive. She never wants to leave the house or the couch." Interestingly, the Fletchers could have easily taken photos or videos to show Dr. Bickham what's going on. I mean, that seems like the very logical, common sense thing to do, but they brought along no footage. Just told him, "We don't know what's going on." Based on the Fletcher's description, it sounded like Lacey was dealing with extreme and sudden agoraphobia, which is a disorder when people are afraid of open spaces like public areas. On the milder side, it can be someone that has very extreme social anxiety, does not want to be in places that they're not comfortable with or cannot deem as a safe space, which public spaces, you know, they tend to be a bit more unpredictable. But on the more extreme end, you have people who never leave the house. They deem the home or even a certain room of the home to be the only safe space in the entire world for them. And even stepping outside of that safe space could result in a panic attack. So this is very serious. Now, typically, agoraphobia is more likely in people that already struggle with anxiety, and it can get worse over time if it's not helped or treated. Someone's safe space can actually get smaller and smaller. So when it used to be the whole house, someone with agoraphobia can be like, actually, now it's only the back of the house. Actually, now it's only the living room.
Now it's
which we have
actually
no idea
this.
if
No,
this
it's
is even
that.
what's happening to
Like,
Lacey.
what's
All we
happening?
have
I'm
are her
confused.
parents at her doctor's office saying she doesn't want to get off the couch and she's being antisocial. For all we know, she could have been tied to the couch.
Right.
Side note, that is a theory later that comes up. And another side note, some people have just put the autism as a blanket statement over anything going on with Lacey at the time and why she was pulled out of school. And again, sure, maybe something was going on with Lacey, but we don't have proof. And autism doesn't suddenly change a person drastically. An autistic person who can speak, make friends, have hobbies, go to school, use the restroom by themselves, they don't just suddenly wake up one day and don't do those things. But a lot of people are like, oh, autism. Like, that's not how it works. We have no idea why Lacey was pulled out of school. We have no idea what caused her parents to pull her out of school. So just to recap, Lacey is pulled out of school at 16. She was last seen by Robert Blades Sr. exercising outside when she was 21. The Fletchers tell Dr. Bickham that she stopped wanting to leave the house at age 23. Lacey was emailing a friend of hers at 27. And Robert Blades Sr. asked Clay about Lacey, and he said that she was fine and at home, and then changed the subject when Lacey was 30. 6 years later, Lacey Fletchers was found dead on the couch at 36 years old.
Oh,
Lacey Fletcher
my
sat
Lord.
down on the couch one day, whether it was against her will or not, will be argued later, but she never got back up. How is that even possible?
That's
The
what I was
first theory
thinking. It
that
doesn't
came
make
about
any
online
sense.
was that Lacey had locked-in syndrome, which we talked about earlier in the episode. Because when this
Yeah.
case broke, a rumor started that she had locked-in syndrome, and everyone, including major news outlets, they just ran with it. They said that she had locked-in syndrome because it just answered all the questions of why and how is an able-bodied woman sitting in her own waste for 12 years until the couch fell apart. Locked-in syndrome was kind of this neat little package that answers every little question and gives people peace. But it's not true. Lacey did not have locked-in syndrome. She was able at some point to email her friends, or at least dictate what she wanted emailed to her friends. She was able to feed herself and even swallow the sofa foam and feces. So even if you have locked-in syndrome and someone is force-feeding you something, you cannot swallow. You have no control over any of your muscles except maybe your eyelids. You are fully locked into your body, which it appears Lacey was not. Side note, Dr. Bickham would later state that he had never heard of locked-in syndrome in his entire career, refuting the idea that Lacey Fletcher had this syndrome. And while she may not have had locked-in syndrome, it is a very real thing that does exist. It's just very rare. But it doesn't seem like Lacey had it, which leads us to the most confusing question of all of this. Then why didn't she just get up?
Shop the super sale at Sherwin-Williams and transform your space with color. Get 40% off paints and stains with sale prices starting at $29.39. Hurry in August 8th through the 14th.
My mouse.
Visit your
There you
neighborhood
go.
Sherwin-
There you
There
go.
are a few theories on why, but the belief is, regardless of how it started, her leg muscles probably atrophied to the point where she could no longer be able to get up even if she wanted to. So she started off able-bodied, but her leg muscles might have been completely dead. Let's say, for whatever reason, you are unable to get up from a sitting position, whether that be from inner, mental, or outside physical force, you cannot get up. Your physical body is going to react to that. Have you ever slept and your leg fell asleep?
how are
where
they-
you've been in one
Yeah.
position for so long that your leg goes numb, and then when
That's
you
the
finally take the
scariest
pressure
thing.
off that
I'm
leg,
literally
you feel
falling
that tingling
asleep.
pins and needles.
And with the freaking pins and needles when you wake up, and then the freaking soreness, and then you get to feel like it's stabbing you, and then you think you're dying, but you're not. It's that's the scariest part of literally living. Like, bro, I don't know how am I supposed to sleep then if I wake up with pins and needles, or then you got a leg cramp with it. Oh, I just give up. I just lay back down. I'm like, okay, maybe I need more sleep. Like, does anybody else have that? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Feeling, and it's just uncomfortable. And if we realize it's happening, most of us can do something about it if we're able-bodied. But if Lacey had been sitting in that same position for long enough, her leg muscles would have atrophied on their own and started wasting away, becoming locked into place, paralyzing her. Over time, the pain and rotting of the flesh in her thighs and buttocks would have further paralyzed her muscles as well. Lacey was found in her legs crossed in a position that most people would actually deem and describe as defensive rather than comfortable. Like, how long can you actually sit crisscross applesauce without getting uncomfortable? So let's just say that's how she first sat down on the couch. Again, we can't say for certain if this was or was not against her will, because there are online theories about it, but let's just say she sat down like that. Soon, within minutes or hours, blood would flow more slowly to this area, which can lead to what I talked about, the bed sores. But it gets worse, because this loss of blood is basically a crushing injury. Not as a description, but that's what they call it, like as if you're getting crushed. It just gets more and more dangerous over time as well. The tissue around her legs and butt were dying.
It's like,
if it gets really severe, surgery or even amputation would be necessary to correct the problem. At a certain point, since Lacey had been sitting for that long, even just getting up could kill her. So it's not like her parents are saying she just didn't want to get up from the couch. She could die by getting up from the couch. Not to overcomplicate it, but if you have a crushing injury like compartment syndrome, when there is high enough pressure on a limb or part of the body that blocks blood flow to that compartment of the body, for example, Lacey's legs and behind area, potassium starts to build up. And then when you get up or the pressure is suddenly taken off of that area, all that potassium has nowhere to go except straight into your bloodstream. And this rush of massive amounts of potassium causes a heart attack. And you can die. Lacey had been on that couch for 12 years. By year 1, it would have been shocking if Lacey was even able to use her legs at all. She would have been fully paralyzed. This is likely what could have happened to Lacey's physical body. But again, why? Why did she sit down and never get up? Even when she felt her legs falling asleep, even if she must have felt extreme discomfort in that position, why didn't she just move or reposition herself or get up entirely? Okay, fine. Let's say that she didn't want to get up from this couch. This couch is her safe space. There was some sort of mental barrier. Why didn't she change her positions around? There are 2 theories that people have considered online. Either there was a mental or emotional reason Lacey did not get up, or she was physically tied down in the beginning until her legs atrophied. Let's explore the first theory, that she chose to be on the couch. And just to preface, even if it was Lacey's choice, the fact that her parents didn't do anything to help her, that's not okay, in my opinion, if this theory is even true. I think it's still a tragic, horrible case of neglect that borders abuse because of how severe it is. But some people theorize that Lacey had developed agoraphobia at 16,
oh wait, never mind.
And it escalated.
What's the story about the oh wait, never mind. It's okay, it's okay. Honestly, the story is very scary and sad, and it's just depressing, and yeah.
Developing worse and worse every single year until it reached a point where Lacey's only safe space was the couch that she was on. She didn't want to get off the couch. And the theory goes that the Fletcher parents, they didn't know how to handle this. They thought Lacey was being this lazy teenager who didn't want to socialize, work, or go to school. And it started off as a stubbornness problem. Well, if you don't want to get off the couch, we're not going to take care of you. But eventually that evolved into the Fletcher parents building resentment and denial towards Lacey and the condition. This is, again, a theory. This theory is the kindest towards the Fletcher parents. It's the theory that her parents became so overwhelmed by her, quote, issues that they just kept ignoring the, quote, problem for 12 years until Lacey died. Some people argue that caregiver resentment is very real and that maybe her parents were in denial about how bad it was getting until it was too late. One detail that I guess supports this theory, not really, because I have a hard time getting behind this theory, but anyway, a supporting detail, I guess, you could argue, is that Lacey was still emailing her friends in 2014, when she was around 27 years old.
Yeah.
A few of her old high school friends received emails, and they sounded very much like Lacey. They were filled with passion, and she was sending them links of videos from Disney. Not of her at Disney, but like of Disney. There was no hint that she was trapped anywhere or being abused. We have no idea if Lacey was given her phone, had access to her phone to send these emails. We have no idea if she told someone what she wanted to say in the email and someone sent it. We have no idea if someone wrote the email for her. We have no clue. We just know that these emails were sent under her email address, and they sounded very much like her.
Her parents,
and I guess the people that are in support of this theory, they think if Lacey's parents were actively abusing her or torturing her in some way, would they want her to have her phone to message her friends?
This is what I think. This is what I think. I have a theory. Her parents said, "Oh, you're this, so I'm gonna make you stay at home, and you're not able to talk to anybody." So they pretend to be her for about a year or so, right? And then after they pretended to be her, they kind of just went from there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me if you think I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I think, yeah, I really feel like that's what happened. But and then she like probably got like beaten up or something. Like I don't know, maybe her parents said, "Oh, let me be beautiful," and went pew pew, ha ha, and made her stay like paralyzed or whatever on the couch. And then they just pretended to be her and read her past text messages and pretended to be her. And then like maybe she was paralyzed, but like on documents it says she could still move or something like that. You know what I mean? Yay, more people watching. Yeah. Thank you for joining. But I really think this was happening. I could be wrong. Yay, I just got here. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to the stream. I'm literally just yapping about this case. I've been quiet most of the thing because I've been thinking. I'm like, I don't know what it could be. I've been pretty much, it's called like locked in syndrome. That's what I kind of did my research on it in the background a little bit just now. And it's kind of like, I don't know. That could be it for her. But at the same time, I think like if she was diagnosed with it, like when? You know what I mean? Like how soon can it happen? Like when can it happen randomly? Did it happen when she was like pooping herself? Like urinating herself and all that? Or did it happen like after she probably got hit by her parents or something? You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I got locked in trying to, yeah, trying to understand it. It was very like, I don't know, like, it's very, I don't know. It's interesting. Anyways, let me continue. It's not over yet. So
What if
maybe
she
we'll
reached
get
out
something
for
at the
help?
end.
And then a few years before that, Lacey's parents went
is
to Dr.
confusing.
Bickham, remember, to talk about how Lacey was becoming very socially reclusive. Why would
Yeah.
they do that? Why wouldn't they just act like she went to the big city, moved on,
No,
got
bro,
married,
that's what
went
I'm
to
saying.
college?
Like,
Side note, I saw
let's
arguments
be
as
for real. If her parents was really abusing her, wouldn't they also like kind of just be like, oh, she went away, she did this, she did that, oh, she's not here, and just try to hide her somewhere instead of putting her on the couch? Unless they wanted to seem like she's still there, but like they didn't want her to be controlled of her own actions or something like that. I don't know. Me too, me too. They're kind of like interesting. They're very interesting.
well,
Anyway,
that some autistic people
let
struggle
me
to
continue
explain when
on
they're in
this.
pain and explain exactly how much pain they're in, which has led to serious issues. But I don't know how that applies because that's usually for injuries that can't be seen from the outside, like appendicitis. I want to include it because it has been mentioned, but I just don't think that autism really has anything to do with this case other than the media reaction of justifying and almost answering Lacey's death by just saying, oh, blanket statement, autism. But other than that, I don't see how the fact that she was autistic applies to the questions that need to be answered. Lacey had sores all over her flesh that was rotting. Maggots were eating away at her, consuming her right in front of her parents. Who cares if she was autistic or not? Like, I don't think anyone needed for her to verbally say, hey guys, I'm in pain. And there have been theories of how Lacey went from being a socially active 16-year-old girl to not leaving the couch. One of the more popular theories are severe agoraphobia. Some people speculate that Lacey could have also developed schizophrenia, with the average age of onset tending to be around 20 to 30 for women. So they're like, what if she was schizophrenic? And perhaps schizophrenia was causing her hallucinations that made her terrified to leave the couch in fear of some sort of perceived danger out there. Or maybe she had some sort of brain injury that caused her to suddenly behave differently and her parents had no idea how to give her care. Another supporting theory is that Lacey was kept alive for 12 years. A person can usually only live about a few days without water and a few weeks without food.
Like, it doesn't
and
make
although
any
Lacey
sense.
was
Like,
severely malnourished, she was getting enough food and fiber to at least defecate. Which, side note, this is a big part of life. Extreme constipation can actually cause death on its own by blocking the intestines and the colon. So Lacey was getting enough food to defecate and pass urine. She also had all of her front teeth when she died. So someone, whether it was Lacey or her parents, someone was helping her brush her teeth for her. Could the parents have been so far in denial that they just didn't understand that Lacey could no longer move and get up on her own or even use the toilet right next to the couch? Maybe they thought, even in year 10, that her legs had not atrophied, even though they were completely rotten and eaten by maggots. They just thought that she was being stubborn and a lazy kid. Or they thought that they were being good, authoritative parents. They're like, you're stubborn, well, we're not gonna do what you want us to do. After all, some people argue that the parents clearly brought her a toilet to use and put it up right next to the couch, provided her with baby wipes and baby powder for her, as well as an option to have clean clothes that were sitting right next to her and her favorite movies laid out on the side. Someone's brushing her teeth, which caregivers have stated brushing a patient's teeth is actually a very strenuous, stressful process. Why would they do that unless to a degree they cared about her? That's the theory. I don't believe it, and I'm very reluctant to state when I don't believe theories strongly. I just don't see this one. It doesn't answer any questions for me. Like, never say never, so sure, maybe this is how the Fletcher parents felt personally, but it's still not really acceptable in my opinion. I mean, ignoring someone's depression, maybe I could try to understand it a little more. Maybe they're locked in their room and they don't talk to you. They don't communicate with you. That's something where I'm more kind of like, maybe the parents didn't fully understand it, or maybe they're very ignorant about these mental illnesses. But when someone has sores down to their bones, like their body is a mixture of holes and black and blue from tissue death, and there are maggots crawling around eating your child, consuming your child's flesh, how can they be in denial? Even in very rare cases, we might sometimes hear, once in a blue moon, stories of people keeping their loved ones' deceased bodies. Like, no matter how much decomposition is happening, because these people are in denial of their loved one's death. But that denial typically extends all the way into other aspects of that person's life. They will be in denial about their loved one's death. They will still talk to them. They will still talk about them with other people as if they're still alive. But for the Fletcher parents, they were completely normal when they went outside to socialize. They never spoke about Lacey later on. It's as if she didn't exist. Most of their friends didn't even know that they had a kid. If they were in denial, wouldn't they talk about Lacey as if she's still alive and doing well? She's just being a lazy kid and not melting into the couch. It's like they're hiding it, in my opinion. You know, people online have stated when parents love their kids and will do anything for them, but their circumstances are just really bad, they don't have the funds to get their child the proper care. The state won't help. There's no other option. They feel lost and heartbroken that they can't do more for their child. That is clearly not the case with the Fletchers. The Fletchers would have enough to pay bail for the both of them. That amounts to $72,000 in cash. They could have easily found Lacey a long-term facility to help her because they can't be the ones to help her. So it's not that they had a lack of funds. Not only that, they live in Slaughter, Louisiana. The community there is incredibly strong. Everyone wants to help their neighbors, and they're popular members of the community. You're telling me that the community wouldn't have rallied together to help Lacey? But the point is, the Fletchers didn't even try. So while denial, I think, is a powerful thing, and being a caretaker is a very complex role, I don't believe that the Fletchers could have been in denial for 12 years. Every parent that I personally know, even seeing their child sick with a cold, a flu for a day,
this is just here in the background for you
physically
guys
and mentally pains them. But it is a theory, so I have to tell you about it. One of the Fletchers' neighbors even stated, "The Fletchers are good people who just made bad decisions." One netizen commented on the case and said, "It can be extremely stressful for caregivers. Could Lacey have avoided her tragic end if more support and help were given to the parents who cared for her?"
Support to the parents?
Yeah. They may have been really helpless and did not know what to do.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty horrendous comment to make. Could Lacey have avoided her tragic end? The comment said. Another netizen points out, they didn't even have her in a private room ignoring her. Like, they walked by her every single day and watched what happened. That's disgusting. That's not denial. And another big thing to note, the parents weren't so in over their heads that they didn't have time or energy to be a part of the community. They always showed themselves in a very positive light to their neighbors and colleagues. They were very much active in social life. So they seemed involved in other interpersonal relationships. So they had the energy for that.
Yeah, and the fact that it's been so many years, it's like, every day it's a decision. Every minute, every hour is a decision that they're making.
And it's only
not to save her life.
And more and more painful for her to be alive in that state too.
Exactly.
So now we head into the third theory. The Fletchers were torturing their only daughter, Lacey. This is the theory that most people, including law enforcement, seem to believe. A lot of it has to do with the fact that Sheila even outright lied to the police, stating that Lacey's last meal was the sandwich and the Cheetos. And we know that's not true. And there are two versions of this theory. I would say that law enforcement probably believed the latter theory, but the former theory, I'm going to run through it. The first version is that people believe that something traumatic happened to Lacey and then it spiraled into this. So this is very conspiracy vibes. This is based off of zero evidence, just from what little facts we know about the case. Some netizens have kind of spun together a theory of what they think might have happened. The first theory is that she was somehow injured. She had some sort of brain injury and all she could do was sit there. Or a traumatic event caused something in her brain to shift. Like SA could be an example of a traumatic event.
Exactly.
And I know that SA is a wild theory to just throw out there. Some netizens believe this theory a bit more because Clay and Sheila went to see Dr. Bickham in 2010. They stated that Lacey was acting differently, and some people who have been sexually abused will try and make themselves seem repulsive to their attacker, like they refuse to wash. Or they will have kind of a drastic shift in their personality because of the trauma. Which still is very crazy theory just to toss around, but I don't think that anyone is trying to string together heinous things for the sake of it. I think people are genuinely trying to understand how this could happen to someone and how evil someone has to be to just watch it happen. Anyway, the theory continues that after a traumatic event, whether it be SA or some sort of physical injury, Lacey was no longer the same. And maybe the theory is her parents caused that shift in some way, shape, or form. And they can't get her help because she might tell someone. They can't get her admitted because she might tell someone. So they just sit her down on the couch. And from there, her legs start atrophying and it escalates into the situation where they still do not want to get her help.
Thank you for stopping by, actually.
There's also a theory that she was tied to the couch in that position until her legs naturally atrophied.
Maybe you'll stop by
next time. And that is, again, purely a theory. There is zero evidence that she was tied to the couch on or before the day she died. But she was on the couch for the past 12 years. And like we said, within the first year, her legs...
Just sense, guys. For the past 12 years... she's been on that couch. What happened between then? It doesn't I don't know. I don't know. It just seems weird, guys.
We're probably paralyzed and stuck in that
doesn't make
position.
Any sense to me.
So we
The
don't know
math
if
isn't
maybe the first
mathing.
year she was on that couch, she could have been tied up. Who's to say? So the conspiracy is something bad happened. Parents don't want it to get out. Lacey is forced onto couch till her legs atrophy. Parents kept Lacey alive to torture her. Again, this is purely based on theory and not fact. Now, one aspect that people cannot get over is the fact that Lacey was found nude, except the shirt pulled over her chest. The nude part, maybe the parents stopped dressing her because they knew that she would just soil herself again, but why not let her have her top on?
Guess which student has a better chance of getting into an Ivy League school? First, take a look at Zach. He's valedictorian.
Why was it pulled up above her chest? Did it hurt the wounds on her back? Because then they said that she wasn't in pain and she never said that she was in pain. So why would it be pulled up? It just feels extra degrading. Like either take it all the way off or pull it down. I guess a lot of people have been reading into it. It feels very humiliating. The other theory is something was going on with Lacey where she was terrified to leave the couch, but the parents believed that she was just being a difficult teenager. So they stubbornly told her, fine, sit on the couch then. And they started torturing her basically out of spite. Even before Lacey passed with just sofa foam and feces in her stomach, she was malnourished. It was chronic. So that means over time, Lacey was not getting enough nutrients or food. So the parents, they're going out to eat. They're going on trips. They're going away for the weekends, hanging out with friends. Lacey was alone, starving. That sounds like torture. Some people think that even the toilet seat and the cleaning supplies being so close to the couch was a form of psychological torture. Like, look at everything you could use if you just get up, but you can't. Because why was it there? I mean, it's really clear. Like, half of her body has disintegrated and melted. What do you mean,
why would they
get up
lie
to use
about
the
it, though?
restroom?
It doesn't make any sense.
I think anyone
This is one
with
of the
a
most
brain, in my
sad
opinion,
cases
would know
ever.
that she cannot get up to use that toilet, even if it's pulled up right next to the couch. She can't even move her position. And a lot of people argue the teeth thing, that's not the parents being in denial. That feels like torture. That feels like you're keeping her alive to prolong some sort of torture. Like, this is no way for a parent to see their child live.
Why would they sit up there and just be like, he
why would
gonna
Sheila
live?
call 911 when Lacey died? Most people didn't even know the Fletchers had a daughter. And the ones who did, they thought that she moved away and started her own life. Nobody was suspicious of the Fletchers in any way. Why wouldn't they just dispose of her body, even bury her in the backyard? Who would know? One neighbor reported that someone might have forced Sheila to call the police. And just to preface, there is no proof about what I'm about to say, but there's a running theory based off of an allegation given by a third party that is not involved, so take it with a bottle of salt. Allegedly, Sheila didn't call 911 because Lacey's heart stopped and she wanted her to be saved or wanted the authorities to know that her daughter was dead. Allegedly, there was a neighbor who peeked through their window that last day on January 3rd, saw Lacey on the couch, and told the Fletchers, "What the hell is going on inside your house?" Like maybe they had come over to knock on the door and they didn't answer or something, or they had looked through the window when the Fletchers had gone away for New Year's. We don't know. But they threatened the Fletchers, if you don't call the cops, I'm going to call the cops. So Sheila was forced to call 911 and report Lacey being dead.
The timing of that, though.
Yeah, that's what one of the neighbors had stated, that they were told. We have no idea if this is true. Either way, one netizen commented on this case and said, "I think her parents are liars. And considering the lotions and other toiletries that were reportedly found near the sofa with clean clothes, I believe some sort of psychological torture was happening in conjunction with the prolonged starvation." And there's something else that bothers me. If the media is correct about Lacey and she was found almost completely nude, her top pulled up above her chest, why? Was this an attempt to further humiliate her? And as unlikely as it may sound given the circumstances, was she essayed? This is all speculation, of course. We will have to wait for the trial for the truth to come out. That is what a comment says. Now, other commentators say, "I believe one Fletcher will turn on the other in hopes of not dying in prison." But I guess none of the theories really answer every question neatly. And again, they're just theories, just lingering questions. And another one is, how did the parents live with the smell? How did nobody smell it on them? So to try and answer that question, maybe the parents developed olfactory fatigue, nose blindness. It's when your nose gets so used to a certain smell that you can no longer smell it. Actually, we do this all the time. So it's like how your eyes can technically see your nose 24/7, but our brains block it out. Our nose can smell our own house scent, but our nose blocks it out so that if there's any other foreign scent, like a dangerous, the toast is burning, we can smell it better instead of becoming overstimulated. So maybe that can explain why the Fletchers were able to live with that smell. But what about the other people? How could they not smell it on them? Oddly, no one ever reported a smell coming from the Fletchers or the house. The Fletchers were finally arrested, and Dr. Bickham, the coroner, had fought to get a team of medics on standby outside the courtroom while pictures of Lacey were being viewed by the jury, just in case. He said, "The jurors are storekeepers, farmers. Many of them have never been exposed to this kind of stuff, so I need a medical team to be outside the courtroom." Wow. The DA stated that the photos left the courtroom speechless. He said, "When I was presenting the case and showed the pictures and gave the timeline, the expressions of the grand jury was utter shock. Like the clock on the wall never moved again. There was just complete silence. Some jurors were gasping in horror. Some were just staring out in disbelief." So this was not the actual trial. The jury were there to decide whether or not the parents would be charged with manslaughter, negligent homicide, or second-degree murder. Negligent homicide is when someone's criminally negligent behavior causes another person's death. But the requirement, I guess you could say, is that that person responsible failed to realize that their behavior was so dangerous that it could kill someone. Like the intent was not to kill. One of the most notable cases would be an Air Peru flight that crashed and killed 70 passengers and crew. To oversimplify it, pilots and crew realized that something was wrong while they were flying. They were way too low in altitude, but they didn't know that. So their reading instruments were off. And it's because a maintenance staff of this...
Here's how we created our pest project. First, the brush. Now the lasso for tweak.
Flight team had put adhesive tape on static ports of some of the instruments while they were cleaning and forgot to take it off. And these static ports are so important on telling the pilot how high up they were. So when they tried to do an emergency landing, they fell into the Pacific Ocean and they all passed. He was charged with negligent homicide. So it is ingrained in flight staff. Make sure nothing is covering the static ports. But because of his negligent behavior, people died. But he never had the intent, like he didn't have a manifesto in his house of like, I'm gonna kill people. This is the lightest of the 3 charges that were on the table for Lacey Fletcher's case. The sentencing for negligent homicide is typically 0 to 5 years. Manslaughter is very similar to negligent homicide in the sense that someone's behavior caused another person's death, but it is also done so without premeditation or intent. Meaning nobody sat there thinking, if I do action A, I'm gonna kill person B, so I need to do action A because my goal is to kill person B. The idea is more, oops, I did action A for whatever reason, and it ended up killing person B. So for example, voluntary manslaughter, a good example would be if you come home and you see your wife in bed with another man. You grab a lamp, and in your fit of passion and anger, because you were provoked into this response, you slam the lamp down on the man's head and he dies. So there is a level of risk, recklessness associated with manslaughter, but you weren't coming home on the drive thinking, I can't wait to kill this person. I need to kill this person. A lot of it comes from the provocation, like you were in a crime of passion almost. The sentencing for manslaughter is typically anywhere between 0 to 40 years. And then the third charge that was being considered for this case, the harshest of the three, was second-degree murder, which is intentional homicide that is not premeditated. If it's premeditated, it would be first-degree murder. An example of second-degree murder would be you're burglarizing someone's home and the homeowner comes home and you accidentally kill them. You didn't go in there with the intent to kill anyone. You're not trying to be a murderer. You're just trying to make some money, right? But you went there to rob the homeowner and then you killed them. You knew the risks associated with robbing someone. So to compare, for manslaughter, you come home, your wife's cheating on you, it's the heat of the moment. There's a shock of emotion that might have led you to do something. When you're burglarizing someone's house and the homeowner comes home, you can't argue, I was in the heat of the moment, I wasn't expecting them to come home.
That's true. I will say that. Like, when it comes to any crime, you can't really say that as an excuse or anything like that, is because when you have stuff like that for an excuse, you just don't really have any room to justify yourself. You don't have any proof. You don't have any evidence. Your evidence is literally you inside the house, you inside the murder, you in that case. That's why, like, with this case, it's very, I don't know. It's very interesting. And this was a year ago. I didn't even know
It's their
about
home.
this.
You knew that there is a chance that they could come home.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly the definition of
Second-degree murder. It's
Yeah.
murder, yeah. So, you know, there is intent, but there's not necessarily premeditation of like, we're going to go into their house, rob their valuables, and then kill them.
Yeah.
Right. Now, the DA was fighting for second-degree murder charges, which a lot of people wanted to see first-degree murder, but I guess legally second-degree murder made the most sense.
I have none.
And it could lead
No,
to a life
real.
sentence. The DA
Literally
argued
how
with the
they
jury,
think.
we don't
I don't know
treat
why,
animals and
they just
neglect
think
even
very-
our pets in that way. If we have
Very
an animal in that
interestingly,
condition, you
I
take them
will
to the
put that.
vet.
It's very
If you're not
interesting.
capable of providing the care for that pet, you get help. You can't say Lacey wasn't in pain. On murder, you have to have intent. Did they want to kill Lacey? I want to say yeah. They wanted to kill her. Lacey hadn't seen a doctor in 20 years. The jury
Definitely wanted to
said they
kill her.
would be indicted and charged with second-degree murder. So the parents will be
Second-degree?
tried. They have pled not guilty. And it doesn't seem like there's a trial date set yet, but it does seem to be like it'll be sometime in
First.
2024. We will keep an eye out on that.
They
It's
need
just,
first degree.
It's a lot. Both of Fletcher's bail were set at
Like-
$300,000 each. They
No,
used a
that's
bondsman,
not
which
even
means they had to put
enough.
up around
300,000
12% of
don't
that
even
bail,
enough.
so
I
they would have
think
needed
it
$72,000
needs to
in
be
cash to
a
cover for the both
million,
of them,
because
which they paid, and again, shows that if they
literally
really wanted
sat
to
up
help
there
Lacey,
and-
they
ugh.
could, to a degree, afford to help her. The couple's attorney, Stephen Moore, released a statement on behalf of the parents, and he said they don't want to relive the pain of losing a child through the media.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
They have been through a lot of heartache over the years. Anyone who has lost a child knows what it's like.
Oh my God! Don't
What do
even
they
start on
mean?
that. I think
Yeah.
that's even
Through
more
the
triggering for
media
parents
is
to hear
insane,
that.
guys.
All I saw were parents on Reddit, like,
Yeah.
ready for blood.
Yeah.
The couple also
I
went to
would be
post on
too,
Facebook
like,
in just
I'd
one
be
sentence,
mad.
Mom and Dad love you so much,
Huh?
about Lacey's death. They never mentioned Lacey's passion for Disney, her favorite country song, the way she loved to be active and move her body or engage in sports. Nothing.
Wow.
One Redditor wrote, Lacey's parents horrify me. How could they allow this to happen? They insist that she chose this life. If so, she wasn't in her right mind to choose. They had a duty to help her and not stubbornly say, fine, shit there then, until it became a living nightmare. That was absolutely evil in my opinion. If this
No,
was about
really.
pride, it's just as evil as if they tied her to the couch. If they restrained
That's what I'm
Lacey, it was
saying.
sadism. It was still sadism even if they didn't restrain her, because empathy and love would soften their hearts to not allow Lacey to suffer and be degraded like that. Other netizens just simply
This is
commented
just
on this
hard
case.
to digress.
There
I
is no
never
excuse.
ran into a case
There
that
is
is
no
so
explanation.
evil.
What are your thoughts on this? And if you're
My
a parent,
thoughts are
do you have any
freaking- I don't
extra
even
thoughts
know.
on what it's like to be a
I
parent?
don't
Like, how
even
can you
know.
see your child like that? Does it make sense to be in denial about something like this? is the only viable theory that they just wanted to torture their only daughter? Please leave it in the comments, and please be safe. I will see you guys on Wednesday for the next episode. Bye.
Forget the ads. What did we think? What did we think? I think that was the craziest case ever.
Is the only
to ever exist. I think they needed their bond to be way more freaking higher than 300,000. I think 1 million or at least 500,000, because you're letting your own kids sit there and torturing them and doing it for free and for fun and ignoring the kid, neglecting them, changing evidence and moving it around. That in itself is a crime. They literally did nothing but something at the same time. And that's what's the crazy part, because I'm confused, because where did they actually physically harm her without physically harm? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I was quiet during this one. That's my thoughts. Cause let me put the music on for you guys. It's just like, bro, you're telling me they're sitting there doing everything but nothing at the same time. The fact that nobody would suspect them at all or even knew about her life if her parents didn't call the police. No, for real. Like, I agree. Like, it's interesting how they just allow, like, as small as that town was, they didn't have people like there to fully check on them. You know what I mean? And they made their life seem so, oh, happy Peaches, oh, she moved out type of thing, but she didn't move out. And I like the way that the parents kind of held her just at that house without like taking care of her actions or anything like that, like fully, or taking care of her in general. And they just allowed her to basically be hurt and mentally gone. Like, she wasn't there mentally, but she wasn't there physically either. So basically she was already dead without being dead. That's why this case is very, like, I don't know. It's not for the faint of heart. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, she's not there. She couldn't move. So I'm thinking something paralyzed her. But like, she had this syndrome, like this disability. And then, but she didn't have it in the beginning. She had autism. But then again, she could move, but she couldn't move. That's why I'm like, it's confused. Like, where did she actually get physically, like, couldn't move? Was it because she was told to stay there and that's when she couldn't physically move after a few days? And then her body started rotting? That would make more sense. But it would make more sense if physically something her parents did. But it also could be mental, because your mental does do talk to your physical body. Your mental of your brain talks to your physical part of your brain and says, hey, do this, or hey, don't do this, because it's protecting you from certain things and also making you do certain things too. So it's like, she's already dead if you think about it. She's not fully alive. She's not living her life to the fullest. She's already dead by the actions her brain is telling her to not do. Like, for instance, her body's telling her system to, hey, poop, cry, do this, do that, pee, you know? But it's also telling her body, like the rest of her body is also telling her decay, 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 decay. But then the rest of her body is like able to blink around and look around. But she's also able to move it. But there's also parts of her flesh that's alive still. So that's what I'm saying. What part, in what time frame did, in those 12 quote unquote years, was she actually alive? I think mentally she was gone for 6 years. Then physically she was starting to decay in the other half of the 6 years. That's what I'm thinking. But then again, if you look back, if you think back in the video, it's very like, you know, she didn't like die, but then her freaking parents were like, oh, Disney, da da da, on her account. Could be allegedly. Yeah, just, I think this is a very interesting one. I don't know. it's very interesting. I don't know where I could like pretty much, I try to do research. My input is literally just, she has these like she's already dead. I don't know. And it's like, her parents are very at fault. I feel like they could have got $500,000 for her, for the bail at least. 300,000 is not, I don't know. There's people that literally get their bail is like $1 million and all they did was steal like bread from a grocery store and they have to rot in jail for that, while other people literally have this and they probably can pay it off because they literally was a freaking mayor or whatever. They were basically the town peoples. I don't know. It's just you see what I'm talking about though, right? Like, you get mothers literally going in jail because they're just stealing a piece of bread for their kids to eat, and they're still starving, by the way. And they have like $1 million on their bail. But people like this gets only less than that. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. Then again, allegedly, I don't want to get sued. Allegedly, of course. It's very, yeah, it's interesting how, yeah, like you said, it's just, I don't know. That's a pretty weird way to think about life, I guess. But, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to check Rotten Mango out. The links are going to be in the description, all that good stuff. All the links from me reacting to 3 different channels, literally, are going to be in the description. All that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to end the stream here. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. Or subscribe. And follow for if you want, you know, what to call it. Pretty much, I'm gonna get some sleep and or draw a little bit, see how my arm goes. Go from there, and yeah. Till then, I hope you guys can, hopefully I can stream tomorrow. I don't know, it all depends on how my arm is. I hope I feel better soon, and I hope you guys enjoyed my reactions. Hopefully we can do some more reactions. But yeah, bye-bye, goodbye, goodbye.